Well, hello there, Internet, and welcome back to Lords of Misrule. I'm your host, Sean, the Kraken Palmer. I don't know. Anyway, we're back for another exciting episode of Lords of Misrule. If you're not familiar with the show, we're playing D&D, and I'm stalling to make sure everybody gets here. Well, I'll do a couple of quick announcements before we get started. We've got some great things that have happened over the last couple weeks, and some more stuff coming up soon for your enjoyment. If you haven't caught it, our new podcast, it's been ongoing for a while, Cyberscape. We are on episode 5 now. We had one go up about 2 weeks ago. We've got another one coming up this Wednesday. It's available on iTunes and Castbox. Just search Cyberscape. It's a dungeon world podcast. We are exploring the inner workings of an MMORPG in game. It's got humor. It's got griffins that sound like chickens. It's got action. It hasn't had romance yet, but I'm sure that's coming at some point.
I knew it.
But it's been a lot of fun, and we're really enjoying making it. We had our sort of season finale of Wild Space almost 2 weeks ago at this point. You can check that all out. All episodes of our first kind of full season of Wild Space are up on YouTube for you to enjoy. We're going to take a little bit of a hiatus from that for a couple weeks, but we are doing a one-shot on Monday that I'm going to be running. It's going to have all the familiar faces from the crew, and it's going to take place in the Wild Space universe. And other than that, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a little spoopy. So come check it out. Same time, same place, 8 o'clock Eastern time, right here on twitch.tv/Game Nights. I think that's about. We had our most recent episode of Wonderworld Origins this last Thursday, which was very dramatic. If you like superheroes, if you like teenage angst and moodiness, then it's the show for you, and you'll really like it. So check that out. If you're a subscriber, it's up on the VOD right now. You could watch it after this. If you aren't, it'll go up on YouTube later this week. I think that's it. Any other announcements or anything that I might have missed? No. Okay. Well, we are going to get started here in just a second. Thank you for joining us today. We're looking forward to another exciting adventure in Gothford. But until then, sit back, relax. This next episode of Lords of Misrule. And welcome back. Previously on Lords of Misrule, we had a bit of a bottle episode last week with Cordelia.
I would say it was more pyramid shaped, but
well, we'll get to that. We had a fun time exploring the relationship of Cordelia and Seb as the two of them got into all sorts of antics and things around Gothford. You met some of Cordelia's family, who are vampire. We got some cryptic kind of hints at Cordelia's place within that family and some of her motivations in Gothford. And after that, you learned that Seb was being evicted from his apartment as his rent was being raised a lot. And as you discussed this and decided what to do, decide not to deal with any sort of your real world problems at this point, you decided to test out this bag of beans that you had mysteriously come across take it for a test drive, summoning an ancient pyramid in the center of the city, exploring which you ran into a mummy, an undead creature within this pyramid, were able to steal its treasure and escape, at which point the pyramid destroyed. And then I think you went and got a drink, and that's about it. There isn't a lot to recap from that one because it was very straightforward, but wild. So we're gonna go ahead and pick up the next day. The big thing kind of on the horizon and probably at the forefront of all of your minds is that you have a job tonight. There is a dinner, a gala for some of the upper elite, the upper echelon of Gothford, and they have tasked you and your ensemble as bodyguards for this event. We'll get more into that later, as it is the morning of. I have a couple of scenes that I want to do, but I want to make sure you guys have a chance to do anything that you want to do first. So is there anything specifically that any of you wish to accomplish today?
Well, I have something that probably would have happened yesterday.
Okay.
Enza, having recently gotten some money, is gonna contact that shady dude and see if he can scout out some research on monsters.
Okay.
That she, what's his name? I didn't actually get
Ralph, I think was his name. Was it Ralph? I think it was Ralph.
Okay. I know Frank put me in touch with him, but I can't remember if he figured out his actual name.
Ralph is what I have in my notes.
Okay, Ralph.
But I'm not sure. No, actually, Ralph might be the name of the. I think that's the arms dealer, the underworld black market contact. So I don't actually remember the name that we gave. Somebody out there probably does. Let's say Jacob.
I like it. So she's gonna get in contact with Jacob, probably through Frank again.
Yeah. Okay.
And give him some gold to do that.
Why don't we say you did that the day before?
Yeah.
So we can move forward on that and not have to wait a long time. So you gave him that money as soon as you were paid for your last job.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll say this morning of the 15th, you are probably preparing or somewhat in your home, in your apartment, might be getting some equipment ready or doing push-ups or whatever Enza does to start her day. And there is a packet that slips or slides under your door.
Is gonna grab it, but not quite open it immediately because she's also very paranoid. So we snuck into her apartment.
True. It does have in big letters across this sort of manila, this brown envelope. It just scroll. Hope this helps, Jay.
Okay. It's probably not gonna get into it now, but it's gonna tuck that away somewhere.
Sure. Okay. So you're not gonna look it over before the event?
No. In her mind, they're not connected.
Okay. You tuck it away. You have your stuff. Anything else that Enza wants to do?
Probably also something that happened yesterday while Seb and Cordelia were having shenanigans. Is Enza probably went and got her hair redone.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a fancy gala, and her braids were getting all messed up, so she probably went, and that probably took all day.
Yeah, we'll say that Haran has maybe given you the information that we're going to do a brief as far as when you guys get there and kind of what your job is at the event, but we'll say Haran has advised all of you to look nice but be ready for you're working, so practical. And he has advised you to bring your equipment too. So
Yeah.
But yeah, so you go and get your hair done and get some nice get look presentable for the event, I think is the best way to phrase it. Okay. I'll kick it to Clove and Seb, because I don't have scenes for the two of you, if the two of you have anything specifically that you want to do.
I think other than trying and probably failing to cook breakfast at Cordelia's place, yeah, because he brought over his couple of meager suitcases, lays out the nice-ish suit that he's gonna wear for this event. Yeah, I mean, I think after the day they had yesterday, he's probably going to just take it easy this morning.
Okay.
Yeah, cook them something, try and clean up as best he can. Well, I don't know what you got on the docket, but I think I'm just going to relax and I'll probably just head over to the joint today, and I'll see you there when it's time.
Sounds good.
See you in a bit. And I think we'll get changed into the suit now and then just go over already. Or, well, no, probably has like a bag, a garment bag or something. So
Sure.
He's not wearing it all day, but has it on hand.
Don't want to get dirty or sweaty. Okay, that's fair. All right. So you have a relaxing morning, and then head over to the to Clove's joint. Which, speaking of which, Clove, is there anything that Clove's doing today or yesterday, considering you were not privy to everything that was going on?
No, it was probably I didn't have coverage at the speakeasy, so I was probably slinging drinks. But I think today I am pressing my best caftan. I am getting the best turban. I am pulling out the best clothes, because also under the caftan I can wear my leather armor and it not look, it just looks like my big bulky self. And then also I'm gonna go up into the laundry or into the dry cleaner and see if I can find actually a better suit than what I think Seb's gonna bring, because I just don't trust he's got the best suit. I'm just gonna yoink it out of the laundry joint and have it in background just to make sure, in case it's just not up to snuff.
It's like 4 sizes too big.
Yeah, I think Seb, as you get there, what you just have the suit and just like holding it up to him to see if it fit, or like having like 2 suits and trying to figure out which one might fit him.
Well, actually, yeah. When he comes into the bar, Seb, okay, you got your guard. What are you planning on wearing?
I mean, I've got this suit that Cordelia and Pilar foisted on me a few months ago. It should still fit, and I don't think I've torn it or stained it yet, but I guess he'll go ahead, take it out, see if it meets Clove's expectations.
Okay, well, I wonder where Cordelia is really stylish, so I'm not quite. She's stylish for her. She probably get here. Try this on.
I think we have a montage of Seb trying on different suits.
Okay.
And I'm doing like a quick tailoring crap job.
What is the?
Right, to fit.
And yeah, you own a laundry joint, so you own this place and you can run it and you can tailor and stuff. So I'm imagining it's pretty good. And you've got a good sense of style and cut of the suit. So I want to know what the suit. Do you end up? 2 things. Do you end up going with the suit that Clove gives you? And Clove, what does the suit look like?
It's probably a dark gray. Let's go. It's a dark gray, very subtle plaid number, like with a mid gray, simple plaid lining through it. The interior, soft satiny bit is this nice deep blue. The shirt is a basic white tuck shirt, and I got him a bow tie.
Oh, that's good.
That is good. If you don't wear it, I will.
No, I think Seb's gonna take it, not just because this way he's not gonna ruin the one that Pilar and Cordelia got him.
That is good. The one you have is probably more sentimental if you end up getting in a fight or something. Okay, cool. So yeah, you get a nice new suit. Perfect. Anything else for the two of you? Okay. Then which one do I want to do first? Let's go with Pilar first. So Pilar, you are at Midtown Hospital on the third floor, just outside of room 315. And there is a man standing in front of you, middle-aged human man, gray hair, a little bit of scruff, appears mostly unshaven, wearing a doctor's coat. And he's going over a chart. I'm going to change the music here a bit. Let's get this going. He's going over a chart with you, and we probably come into it a little bit cinematically with like this kind of just kind of beeping down the hall and some conversation, probably just catching the tail end of this talk. And he shakes his head and scratches at his chin and says, I guess to put it simply, a little bit of good, a little bit of bad, and there's no real change in status, but I'm sure you know this at this point. It's pretty unlikely he's going to recover.
But he's not sleeping away, is what you're saying. He's
No.
not getting worse.
No, that's the vitals. His vitals are still fine. No change in blood pressure, or we haven't had any scares since he was initially brought in. So that's the good news. But if he was going to get better at this point, in my experience, we would have seen some improvement by now.
I understand.
But as far as the room's paid up, everything's covered at this point. We can keep him here as long as you want us to.
I do. As long as it takes.
Again, I wish I had better news.
It is all right. Thank you.
He just gives a very solemn nod and leaves you to your business and heads to his next patient.
Okay, I'll stand there for like a couple seconds. I kind of actually, if there were anyone around to see her, she kind of actually like straightens her clothes and like fixes her hair a little bit, like makes sure she's super composed and really, really pretty looking before she actually goes into the room.
Okay. You step into the room, which you've probably been in and out today. And it's probably as disconcerting every time you see it, you know, hoping there's some change, but that pit in your stomach as everything is just unchanged, unmoving, still frozen in this moment in time. There is the hospital bed. It's a private room with a hospital bed to your left, position near the center against the wall. That beeping of a monitor just next to the bed, and lying there underneath a white sheet, there is a human man. Let me make sure I get my thing up here. I want to make sure I get this description right. Yeah, human man, his hair appearing kind of shortly cut, cropped, or crew cut along the side. I think you've probably been maintaining. I guess it's up to you. Have you been coming here and like tending to his hair and making sure?
Yeah.
Okay. So his hair is still as like kind of tended to a little bit gray or prematurely gray for his relatively young age. His eyes are closed. He's got maybe a little bit of scruff around his face right now. He has broader shoulders, but is kind of atrophied and a little bit sunken in. Is looking a bit withered. His otherwise handsome face appearing gaunt and a bit sallow, but otherwise no changes from any other time you've been here.
Sorry about that, August. The doctor just wanted to pull me aside to tell me how well you are doing. And I just kind of go over to the bed, like take his hand and like just kind of pat it while I just talk at him. Because you are doing well. You're doing so well. You're going to be fine. But of course I don't have to tell you that, so you know. I'm going to a party today. It is probably one that we could have gone to together. You would have probably liked that. But there will be more. But I wanted to tell you, because it's a little bit different. This party. I guess I just want to let you know I'm working really hard. And you're going to be fine. I'll come back and visit again soon. Goodbye, August. And I just kiss his cheek and then like wipe my lipstick off of his cheek and then I'll leave.
As you lean down to kiss his cheek and kind of smudge or wipe the lipstick smudge off of him, I think the hair on the back of your neck sort of stands on end a bit, and there's a little bit of a chill that runs through the room. And as you turn to leave, the blinds are currently closed from the outside of this hospital room, so you can see your reflection in the mirror. And you see in the reflection somebody standing behind you on the other side of the bed who's not there. You see August standing there, but looks different, still with that gaunt expression across his face, and his face is painted in a colorful decoration of a skull across it. And he gives a soft smile and says, in a voice that is not his, "Still trying to balance the scales in your favor."
Of course. I told you that is the whole point.
You're just prolonging the inevitable.
And what is wrong with that?
I didn't come here to argue with you again on this point.
Then why did you?
The scales are moving once again. Moment of judgment is coming soon. A chance for you to make a choice.
Is that all you can tell me?
It's more fun if I don't tell you much more than that.
Of course. Do you at least have anything useful to tell me?
No. Not unless you have anything useful to offer me.
Not yet, I don't. But I will.
Well, when you do, when you hold up your end of our bargain, I'll have more for you then.
Sounds fair.
The hand of August kind of reaches out and you see it kind of lay across your shoulder, though you don't feel it. That soft smile crosses his face once again and very slowly kind of fades away as the sun comes in through the window behind you.
I kind of seems rude to use his face. And then I just leave, slightly in a huff.
Okay. So you head back to the tavern or the laundry joint at this point. Anything else that Pilar wants to do?
I'll probably have to go back to Casa de Soto, like get my fancy wear.
Sure.
And be like, Mom, no, I'll do my own hair.
Do you tell them you're going to a meeting
I think they figured it out because it's our family. Especially because like I'll probably come out with a fancy dress and like a girl bag, like, oh my gosh, where are you going? Tell us everything. Why didn't you tell us you're going on a date? And it's just like this really obnoxious. And I'm like, leave me alone.
Okay. Yeah, so probably I imagine you went to the hospital pretty early in the morning, and you're probably not able to get out of your home until early to mid-afternoon. Okay, so you head back. So we just have one more piece to get to the laundry joint then, and that is Cordelia. Cordelia, is there anything that you wanted to do this morning before heading over to the laundry joint?
The only thing I want to do is make sure that I take whatever I was wearing, whatever poor suit I was wearing when all of yesterday's shenanigans happened, to the laundry joint. See if it can be fixed.
Okay. So you get yourself ready in the morning after Sebastian leaves, when the place is yours now and you can move unabated throughout it. And so you get dressed or ready for the party, and you're taking your suit.
Yes.
To get dry cleaned. Okay.
I'm also wearing a nice suit to the party.
Yes. As you open the door and begin heading down the stairs of your apartment building, there is somebody walking up the stairs in your direction. And you probably freeze at the top as you see a tall figure wearing a dark black duster with a hood, with their hood pulled up. And they stop as you stop, and there's probably like what feels probably like a 10 or 15 second just frozen moment with this person very clearly staring at you from underneath their hood. What do you do?
Can I help you?
Cordelia. He reaches up and lowers his hood, and you see standing there a tall, well over 6 foot tall man, square chin, square jaw. With,
it's a little early for gin.
Square jaw, thick neck, and the sides of his head are shaved. Has just too many scars to count. Cut across the sides of his head, and one very large one across the side of his face, which you don't remember him having the last time you saw him. His hair is black and cut into a mohawk, which disappears down the back of his head, the other side, facing away from you. And you see the piercing green eyes of Nikolai. And he says, hi.
What is this?
didn't know if you still lived here.
You're dead.
No. I think he starts to take a step up the stairs towards you and then stops for a second, unsure, and says, I understand if you're angry. I came back as soon as I could.
Where have you been?
He kind of looks down the stairs as you hear some like kind of footsteps and like chatter of people on like lower floors of your apartment building, making their way up and down. I think actually somebody comes down the steps at this moment and with like a big bag full of laundry and kind of sees this and like awkwardly scoots by between your conversation, and he kind of backs up against the wall to let them pass and says, Can we talk somewhere else?
Yeah. Just come in.
He heads inside. And as you close the door, he pulls off the duster and is wearing a long shirt or a long sleeve shirt that he has the sleeves rolled up on, and you can see more scars kind of running down his arms, down his hand, almost every inch of his body covered with these about like 1 to 2 inch long scars. And he says, I don't even know where to begin.
Where did you go?
I had a job for the Nurian. I don't know how much to tell you. I want to keep you safe, but I don't.
A good job you've done all these years.
You have to know I came back as soon as I could.
And you left without saying goodbye.
I didn't have time.
Well, I didn't have time to wait.
I know. I understand you've moved on. I just couldn't. I know you deserve answers. The mission I was sent on by my family. We were intercepting an Imperial transport. Just a few miles outside the city. I don't know what happened. Things went south. There was... Somebody talked. I've spent the last 4 years in an Imperial prison. The Nurian have disavowed me. There's no one for me to go back to now. They all think I'm dead. And I'm fine with them thinking that. But I wanted you to know that I was alive.
Really want to say I wish you had stayed dead.
I understand. I'll leave. This was a mistake. I shouldn't have come. I just wanted you to know. I think he goes to pick up his duster. Because I love you. And I always have. You're the only one that kept me going when I was in that prison, being tortured day after day. But 4 years is a long time.
I'm not ready to talk about this.
I know. I'll leave. If you want to speak with me again, I'm staying in a hotel near the docks in West Circle. You can find me there and we can talk. But if I don't hear from you, I won't hold it against you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. And he grabs his coat and heads out the door.
Shit. I will wait a little bit and regain my composure,
Okay.
and then set out to do what I was gonna do today.
All right. So you head to the laundry joint. You probably, I think Clove probably isn't up there right now. She's probably gone back into she's probably back downstairs where everybody else is currently waiting. And, but you drop it off with whoever's working the business front at this point, Samantha or whoever, and take your laundry tag. And you go down and meet with everyone else. And you guys are all downstairs in the laundry joint and see Cordelia head in, all of you looking super fancy.
Does Cordelia have business face on, or does she seem perturbed, put off, questioning life? How well are you hiding what just happened, Cordelia?
She has particularly serious business face for this early in the day.
Well, we've got this thing to do, so I don't question it. Never mind.
Maybe a little more serious than normal.
I'm trying to think if that's enough, given that Sebastian didn't leave her that long ago for him to think something's up. But
Well,
True.
let's let it kind of come out in
Yeah.
conversation and dialogue, and if it hits a point in your conversation that it maybe becomes obvious, we can do some insight checking. But yeah, Cordelia comes in like a cold wind.
I feel like Pilar is not that quietly, but sort of trying to be quiet, like reaming into Seb a little bit. Like, I went by your apartment to pick you up in the taxi on my way here, but you weren't there, and all of your stuff was gone. How weird is that, Sebastian? What is going on?
I mean, did you not see the eviction notice on the door?
No, you must have taken it down.
Assholes doubled my rent, and yeah, I mean, for now I'm just crashing at Cordelia's place because if I
Well, so nice of you to let your cousin
we
know.
were busy yesterday, and if I went back to Casa de Soto, I'd never move out again. They wouldn't let me, so I'm
And he said,
trying to hold on to my freedom right now.
Okay, I understand that, actually. That makes perfect sense.
And I mean, since I had already crashed at Cordelia's place the other night because of the guy breaking in, it's just some of my stuff was already there. It's just, rather than bouncing around house to house, just staying at one place.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so take a chill pill.
Speaking of which, Cordelia, good morning.
Morning.
Okay.
I think at this point there's somebody else comes down the steps, and you see a familiar dark-skinned Earth Genasi friend, Haran, comes down, looking also very spiffy. I think he's wearing a red suit, and says, "Well. Looks like the gang's all here. Good to see ya. How's everybody doing? Everybody's looking great. Glad to see you. Anybody need a drink before we get going?
I mean, I can always use a drink.
Dramatic roll of eyes.
Is this the kind of job we should be drinking on, though?
Well, no, you're not going to probably be able to once you get there, but I'm not going to tell anybody. Listen, it should be a cakewalk. Everything's going to be fine, but y'all should be on your best behavior. So if you do have anything, looking at Sebastian, everything in moderation.
I think Sebastian is just going over to the bar, grabbing a bottle at random and pouring it into his flask at his hip.
All right.
Save this for later.
Yep.
Clove takes a shot of whatever the equivalent of tequila is here.
Okay. And Haran says, claps his hands together, says, okay, so we'll grab some cabs over to the Imperial Tower. I'm sure you're all familiar with the building. The event's going to take place on the top floor. Super fancy, high-class stuff. So everyone just, again, be super chill. All right? There's going to be...
not?
Well, yeah. You're going to be working under the head of security for the event. I'll introduce you when you get there. His name's Bruno. He's a good friend of mine. Just, again, be super nice. Okay? That's what
Alright.
Is there anything about Bruno that would make it difficult to be nice to him?
No. Well, other than you all being who you are.
That is hurtful,
It's also fair.
but it's still hurtful.
But he's a good guy, but he takes his job really seriously. So, again, just
Yeah.
do what he says. If you go in, you do your part, you do the job, we'll all get paid, and we'll all be back to work tomorrow.
All right.
Great.
What are you going to be doing during all this, Haran?
Well, as an up-and-coming entrepreneur, I am going to be attending the event, trying to rub shoulders with some important people, and trying to get us some more business.
Don't rub too hard. You might chip.
I can't tell if that was racist or not, but I'm not going to hold it against you because I'm in a good mood today. Any questions before we get going?
So obviously the the creme de la creme of Gothford are in
Look
attendance.
at you, fancy.
Yes,
Fancy boy with your fancy words.
Ugh.
Yep. I know a little bit. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So at least that's obviously the public side of things. Anything we should know ahead of time about what the families are going to be getting up to at this event, or am I misremembering something you had said about this really being a meeting for the families?
No, like I said, the people who run the city are going to be there. So, yes, the family heads are going to be in attendance. I'm sorry if I didn't make that clear enough. That's why you need to be on your best behavior, because I don't want to wake up at the bottom of the river tomorrow. Okay.
Wake up at all.
To be fair,
As-
you wouldn't be waking up.
Thank you, Clove. But as far as the reason for the meeting or anything going on, that's on a need-to-know basis, and no one in this room needs to know,
Okay.
including myself. So I don't have any answers for you there.
So other than pissing them off, we don't need to do anything special
No,
in regards to the families. Got it.
no. All of you just look pretty and do your job, and we should be good to go. And hopefully we'll get some business out of this. Everyone sees how professional you all are.
Well, fortunately, looking pretty and doing my job are my specialty.
Good. All right. Any other questions?
We know Haran a little bit. Do I feel like do I believe him when he says he doesn't know what's going down?
You can make an insight check.
Okay, I would like to do that. I'm just curious who knows. That's a natural 20 for a 26.
Jeez.
Total.
All right. Yeah, I think you've interacted with Harn enough at this point, and you can get some of his tells. You gather he is being truthful when he says that he doesn't know what's going on, but he might know. I think you get some hint that he's not telling you everything.
Okay. All right.
No other questions. All right, just gonna stand here silently. Let's get going then before this gets awkward.
All right.
And you all head outside like reservoir dogs in your suits and or dresses. And
Can I describe my dress? Because
Sure.
I didn't get to.
Does everyone want to describe what they're wearing? I'm sorry, I only gave that honor to Sebastian.
Yes.
And Clove, I think you. All right, so the other three, what are you wearing?
I'll go first. Pilar
Okay.
is wearing a flapper dress, y'all. It is black and purple with some black sequins with like the dangly string bit at the bottom. It only goes to like, so like the actual solid dress part is kind of like a chevron shape at the bottom, and it stops like mid thigh, and then the strings dangle down to like her knees. It has a plunging neckline. She looks fantastic. She's wearing like a sort of pearl thing. I don't know what those are called. Headband, I guess, like the 1920s thing where like they always wear those headbands, but also is woven in with some flowers. That's what. And she's wearing like bright red lipstick.
Okay. All right. So we have the alt costumes for you three. What about the other two?
I'll go. I know what I'm wearing. Cordelia is wearing a particularly nice suit. A nice woven suit with sort of like a, I don't know, I guess very like in the style of suits that like Kate Blanchett likes to wear. So kind of like the high-waisted suit pants and the jacket. But they're this dark like burgundy color. And she's got this black like low-cut silk shirt on underneath. And that necklace that she stole a long time ago.
Okay.
Remember that pretty like gold necklace that no one wanted me to steal and I stole anyway? She's wearing that, so imagine this big like chunky gold necklace. And then before we go, I would like to cast mage armor on myself and have it kind of look like this time almost like a shimmering like pinstripe into the suit, like this very subtle like dark pinstripe.
I like it.
I like it. Okay.
That's super cool.
Does that mean your normal necklace is not being worn right now?
No, it's still there.
Okay, you
It's
just
double
are wearing
necklaces.
double necklaces.
Double necklace all the way across the sky.
I was about to make the same joke. Thank you.
Yeah, these are both. They go together because it matches the suit. And just her hair's down. And
So what about
very long?
What about Enza? Anything fancy or?
Yeah, she is probably also wearing a suit, though not as fine as Cordelia's. Sort of like a dark maroon. And yeah, it's just not as fancy, but it is like a suit.
Okay. I imagine that out of everyone here, Enza's probably a little bit the more like subtle.
Yeah.
As
Yeah,
far
it's
as the
definitely
apparel.
it's like dark and it's like you can just barely tell that it's sort of red instead of straight black.
Okay. Okay. So you all head out of the laundry joint, which I assume, Clove, you're just leaving in the care of your staff, or are you closing down the place for tonight?
Nah, I think I'll leave it open.
Okay. All right. Well, you give Sam the keys, and everyone else is your cavalcade of orphans to tend to the place. Okay, so you get in your cabs and jet your way across the city, across the bridge. As I think it's probably about, we'll give it mid to late afternoon at this point. The sun is just beginning to set over the river. Very beautiful in this late day traffic, rush hour traffic. No, it's the weekend, so it's still busy. But as you approach kind of the downtown, the very the financial and kind of the seat of power of Gothford, these towering skyscrapers all around you. Finally, you come up to your taxis pull up in the drive just outside of the Imperial Tower, which is the tallest building in Gothford, kind of Empire State, like you can imagine that. Very decorative, very ornate, very presentary in its appearance. And there are attendants or chauffeurs outside, or valets, who come to open the doors for you as you approach in your taxis. And you all step through into the main lobby of the building, Haran sort of leading the way. You get the impression the lobby here has been decorated. There's a little like jazz band in the corner that is kind of giving this soothing sound as you enter the building. It's a little bit crowded here. You're too early for the party right now. It's probably a couple hours before it starts, but there is a lot of staff making their way downtown, pushing carts and getting things ready for the event, setting up some last minute decorations, things like that. And Haran beelines over, or kind of locks on to someone in the corner. There's a small kind of group of people that you gather is probably the security for the event. A lot of rough boys and girls who are prepping themselves and kind of getting orders and task assignments from a short, about 5 foot tall, or no, maybe shorter than that, dwarven man, 4 feet tall, very kind of squat build, with a thick brown beard, which trails down just to about mid-waist. And he's got a folder, a board, and he is kind of going to groupings of people and giving them assignments and sending them to their positions. And as you approach with Haran says, Bruno, and the dwarf looks up with a glower and kind of has a little bit of a kind of maybe a little more pleasant look on their face as they see Haran, and says, Haran, good to see you. I didn't think you were going to show up. Is this your crew with you? And Haran says, yep, this is... you guys don't really have a name. These are the people that work for me. The ones I told you about, they're going to help out with security tonight. I'll let them do their introductions. Bruno, I assume you can take it from here. The rest of you enjoy yourselves, but not too much. And I'll see y'all later. Play nice. And he shakes hands with Bruno, and they maybe have like a little kind of short conversation, and then Haran leaves. Bruno walks through the throng of people around him and to the 5 of you and says, can't say you're what I expected, but from what I've heard, you're pretty capable, competent people. So, all right, I'm going to give you the rundown on what you're supposed to be doing here tonight. Just stick to your assignments and eyes open, mouth shut. Got it? All right. I'm assigning you to security team B. You're going to be in the ballroom during the event. No, B does not stand for ballroom. That is a coincidence. All you need to do is maintain order. If there's any rough housing, I'm sure you know that these sorts of events might get a bit heated. We have a lot of very powerful people here trying to throw their power around, and some people might get in some tiffs. So just do your best to keep things civil. Other than that, just make sure there are no disturbances. If anybody does get out of line, you have my permission to escort them from the ballroom. As long as it's not one of these people. I think he hands you like a list of like important dignitaries that are going to be at the event. He says, these ones can pretty much do whatever they want. Let them just stay out of their way. The rest, however, keep them in line.
What if the ones on this list start getting rough?
And come to me, and I'll assess the situation.
All right.
Any questions?
Are we trying to be less conspicuous as security detail? So mingle, do things, but keep an eye out, or are we supposed to be visibly security?
Kind of looks over all of you. He says, the ones of you that can mingle, you can, as long as you're not, if people approach you or if you want to talk amongst yourselves, then that's fine, as long as you keep on the job. Don't approach any of the guests, though, unless they approach you first. The rest of you, looking over some of you that probably like Enza and Sebastian, some of the rougher boys amongst you. It says, if you don't feel your social graces are going to help you out much here, then I recommend keeping your mouth shut.
Thanks.
I think he notices because you all have your weapons with you right now too. He says, I have a well, I'll take you upstairs. We'll get your weapons tucked away not too far from where you're going to be stationed, but nothing that can't be easily concealed in the ballroom.
So this violin case is probably no good.
Unless you can come up with a real good reason why you're carrying a violin case around with you.
Because I'm good at music.
I mean, she's a performer.
Fair enough.
I do a twirl.
We'll put you near the band then.
Yes.
I think it looks at the golf bag that you've got with you, Enzo, and says, that's probably not going to come in the ballroom with you. But again, anything you can tuck away, any weapons, you're all cleared to have weapons on you. No problems there. I just don't want you looking like it. Don't want to look like there's a small militia in the room or anything. It's going to set people on edge.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Not really small, so...
Stubb just kind of indicates his cane. Think this will cause an issue?
No, I think that's fine unless you got sticks of dynamite in there or something.
I mean, Sebastian still does have a stick of dynamite somewhere.
I was going to say he might.
But not in the cane specifically. Nope. So he says, no, you're fine with that. That's discreet enough. And I think he says, here, I'll show you to show you where you can put your stuff. And he takes you to the staff elevator and punches the button for the top floor, and you begin heading up the elevator with him. You can ask any questions and stuff you want, though, along the way if you have anything for him. No?
So you mentioned Pilar over here, hanging out near the band. Anything? Should we avoid congregating all five of us? Should we stick in pairs, go solo, station ourselves around?
I honestly don't care. You're not kindergartners. You can do what you want. You're not going to be the only people in that ballroom. As long as you're paying attention to what's going on, no drinking or don't. I'm sure you have something on you and you'll drink or smoke or whatever you want, but you can do that. Just don't take anything from the party. The food and everything there is for the guests, not the staff. So if you have any snacks with you, you can have those if you want. But
and clearly we're not in uniform. How will we Will it be evident who else is working security?
Yes, you should be able to. It'll be fairly evident. The people here are pretty important. I gather you'll recognize most of them when you see them. Fairly certain that anyone you don't recognize is probably working the event. Yeah, you're meant to be as discreet as you can. You get the elevator bell rings and you step out on the top floor. I don't have an elevator noise. All I have is the shop bell, and that doesn't really make sense. Just imagine the bell with your mind brains, and we'll be good. So you you step out on the top floor and head through there's like a staff hallway, and then you step out through the doors into like the main kind of foyer area where the elevators for the guests come up at. And there are some people mingling here, some decorations that are being set up. There's a bunch of at the far end of the hall, there's a wall lined with doors that are currently open. You can hear some music coming from inside and see into the ballroom. Bruno leads you off to a side door, not far from the ballroom. He opens it up, and it looks like a guest room or one of like the suites up here that has been repurposed for tonight as some holding area for the staff and like coats and things like that here. So there is probably something similar to a coat rack or a closet space where a lot of the larger weapons have been stashed, and there are a lot of weapons in here. So automatic rifles and larger swords and things like that couldn't be discreetly brought to the party are all stashed in here. So make a note of anything that you can't. None of you carry like great swords or anything. I think so we're good there. But I think specifically the one I can think of is Enza's rifle is going to be difficult to bring in.
I've got a hunting rifle and a mace.
I'll say the mace you could probably tuck under your jacket or something like that.
Okay.
Clove's got her scimitar. Really, Sarah?
Words.
A scimitar might be a little bit hard to bring into the party.
So they were gonna carry their fan, which is actually their wand hidden.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But Clove will stash
her sword.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's fair. And then Pilar, you've got your.
I have a switchblade that I have strapped to my inner thigh.
You're fine there. Yeah.
I have my violin. I'm also gonna go over to Enza and just be like, "Do you want my pistol? You could probably smuggle that in like your belt or something."
I mean, I appreciate it.
It's like this tiny, dinky little pistol.
Do you have
I can make this work.
Do you have any other guns besides your rifle, Enza?
Nope, just the big hunting rifle.
Okay.
This is why I'm doing this. And then,
Yeah,
I don't know.
thanks.
You're welcome. I also have 10 ammunition for it,
Okay.
if you want it.
Yeah, if you're good with. I mean, are you gonna have anything to protect yourself?
Of course I will. I think she actually does like lift up her dress skirt a little bit to show that she's got like a strap, like I got my knife right here, like strapped to my thigh. And then she also like has a little fan. She has her little fan to cover her mouth if she needs to cast any verbal component.
Okay. Yeah, so you've got your it's just a pistol. I think we're going with an automatic. It's not a revolver. It's like a semi-automatic pistol. So yeah, you've got your pistol and then 10 rounds of pistol or revolver ammo if you didn't have any pistol ammo already.
Yeah, I'll put this in here then.
It does 2d6. It's reload 15.
Oh, okay.
You don't even have a full clip?
No.
Or I guess it would be a magazine.
Also, I think when Pilar gives the pistol to Enza, looks over at Sebastian and is like, "It's just a loan." Because the pistol was a gift from Sebastian.
Yeah.
For self-defense.
I remember the knife being a gift. I don't remember the pistol, but...
Just kidding. I don't do that then.
Yeah. The stats for it are in the miscellaneous rules. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll pull
Take
it up.
50 yeah. I guess. Yeah. You have 10 pieces of ammunition. You can take 15 shots before reloading. So yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
It's fine. Well, hopefully you don't have to take 10 shots before you can get to the room if anything does go wrong.
Yeah. Ooh.
And remember, if things get hairy, I can move like the wind and get to our heavy artillery.
Yeah. It's just outside the room, so you're good. All right. So anybody else stashing anything here that needs to be noted? Or
Oh, I
Yeah.
have my owl, by the way.
All the weapons I carry.
I am a weapon, she says.
okay, so you have your owl out. Owl. That's hard to say. Owl out.
Yeah, basically the way I've been thinking of it is that like she has her voluminous, wavy curly hair like over one shoulder and just kind of flips it. There's an owl under her hair that she just smuggled in, just like perched on her shoulder.
Friend.
Okay, are you hiding it from Bruno, or does would you like
I
reveal?
am. If I get the feeling he'll tell me I can't have it.
You gather it's going to be hard to convince someone to have an animal in the.
I figured that's why I'm like
Can't
just
do
gonna cover my
That's fine.
owl.
Okay, I'll allow it.
Thank you.
All right,
I'll allow it.
I'll allow it.
Ugh.
Okay, so after you stash everything here, and Bruno takes you out of the. Yeah.
So I'm gonna dismiss Hecate into her little pocket dimension.
Yes, because a bat would also be difficult
Yes,
to
that's a bat.
justify. Those things carry rabies.
It's a nice bat.
With rabies.
It's not
all
an actual
bats,
bat. It's a
all bat
familiar.
familiars have rabies in
I
this
don't
universe.
think that's true.
It's true.
That
now.
seems really mean.
I'm just kidding. Um. Anyway, so you head into the ballroom, and as you step through the doors, you sort of step into a new world here, a place that many of you aren't really familiar with. A dozen marble pillars support the domed ceiling of the large open interior ballroom. Burgundy carpet mutes the noise of the staff that are setting up tables and going about their business before the event begins. As they walk across the outskirts of the dance floor, mingling among 20 circular tables. There's a raised stage on the far side of the room where you enter, which supports a jazz ensemble, who, as they warm up, their smooth tones resonate up to the vaulted glass ceiling, through which, as the sun is beginning to set, you can just make out the starlight of the Gothford night sky. So that's sort of the positioning here. I don't want to go through the nitty gritty of like getting you guys in positions and stuff like that, but you guys are mingling on the ballroom. You get familiar with the area. Is there anything specifically anybody wants to do to like prepare for the event?
I guess just one question is about like the dimensions of the room, and I don't know if you have those or if this is getting too nitty gritty, but is it like 100 feet, 200 feet, 300 feet, or is it like 50 feet?
No, it's bigger than that. It's enough for it's a big enough space for about 100 attendees, with ample room and a dance floor, and so this is not like an intimate event. So I'd say the ballroom itself probably about 100 to 100. Yeah, probably about 100 feet across.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit less than that.
Is one fireball going to kill everyone?
It would, if someone were to fire a fireball in here, it wouldn't be fun.
Wouldn't be ideal.
It wouldn't be ideal. That's the thing you're probably supposed to
Stop from it?
avoid.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's trying to figure out, okay, if something is about to go wrong, how much room for error is there? And the answer is very little.
Very little, yes. Yeah, you probably don't want to err at this point. And yeah, I mean, it's fairly secure. I mean, again, you guys are on the top of the tallest building in the city. So if you're there are lots of windows though, and there are, there's it's not the most secure building as far as you can see at this point. Actually, I'll have you make make a perception check.
Okay.
All of us are just
8.
Sebastian was specifically saying he was kind of scoping out the room. If any of you feel like you're doing so as well.
Well, I was gonna wait for my turn.
No turns, do. If you, so Cordelia, you wanted to, and Pilar, you wanted to as well.
Yeah, I was specifically wanting to look for areas of the room where line of sight gets interrupted, or where someone could like tuck away and do a thing without being seen. That's you know what I'm talking about. That's
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you guys make perception checks too.
Oh wow. 16.
17
Okay.
for Clove.
18.
All right. So Sebastian, it's a room and there are people in it and tables. But other than that, it's what you see is what you get. We'll say Pilar first with what you're looking for. There's not a lot of. It's a circular room. The only pillars, the only obstructions to your vision are these pillars that are spaced around the room, supporting the vaulted ceiling. Somebody could stand behind one of those and be out of sight of most of the room. And there are, there are 12 pillars around the room.
Okay.
Kind of in actually more of a semicircle, coming from, since it's a flat wall where you enter from the elevators.
Okay. So from where I will be positioned by the band, are there any in particular, like any pillars in particular that I'm like, oh, I wouldn't be able to see?
Yeah, there are probably from the band on the far side of the room, there's 6 pillars on this side, 6 on the other side. You could not fully survey every element of this room from where you're currently standing.
Noted. I will relay that to the team like, hey, so from where I am, I'm not gonna be able to see this, so make sure you watch that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Okay.
That's fair. Okay. Clove, was there anything specifically you're looking for, or just kind of?
I'm just, I'm looking for runes, something in the floor and the pillars that may hide traps, hide trigger systems, something along those lines that may just to know kind of what. While it looks insecure, I'm betting this building is probably secure. It's secure AF.
And Cordelia, was there anything specifically you were looking for?
I don't pay special attention to the way the room is set up in like where groups of people are probably going to congregate.
Mm-hmm.
So like where there are probably going to be larger volumes of people.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from like the dance floor, obviously, but like where would be like most conducive for people to like stand around in groups and talk and things like that.
So Cordelia and Clove, with your rolls, and specifically Clove because you're looking for this, and Cordelia because you rolled really high, you do see the places that people would gather are going to be the dance floor. There is the area where the tables are set up for whenever everybody eats or sits, which are fairly close together towards the center of the room, just off where the band is positioned against the back wall. And then there's like a bar area to the side of the room too. Those are probably the 3 big places where you're going to see people congregating. But the 2 of you notice, while the room is very elegant and austere in its decoration and doesn't really give the sense of being, I guess, secure, you do see the windows around the room. There are thin bits of like a gap between the windows and the wall, and you can see there are like metal like shutters behind those, and you notice that along all the windows, including the glass vaulted ceiling, given the impression that there's probably some sort of security system which would lock down those windows, or where shutters would cover those windows in an emergency.
Good to know.
But yeah, otherwise no traps or anything within the room or along the support pillars or anything like that. It seems to be just relegated to the entryways.
And aside from the elevators, there's not like a outdoor space. There's not a balcony or anything like that anybody can get out to, is there?
Actually, I'd say there is probably a balcony. that comes out from the ballroom. Which the shutters would shut that off. But yeah, so there is probably an open balcony and some air coming in through there.
Got it. Okay. And the balcony space, I'm assuming because it's a party, is kind of set up, fairy lights, things like that, ready to go.
Yeah.
Together. Okay. I'm gonna. Clove's
That's
gonna
probably where the bar is. I'm gonna say is over
outside?
behind. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna. Clove's gonna post up over the opposite side of the room from Pilar, so that they can keep an eye kind of on behind the pillars, and kind of stand next to a pillar to not stand out so much about how tall they are.
Okay.
I mean, it's gonna be hard to see, but leaning against a pillar and kind of keeping an eye. That's where Clove's gonna post.
All right. Well, unless there's anything else, you all. Yeah.
I'm gonna take a good look at the staff who are sort of setting up the event.
Mhm.
Try to recognize some faces. Try to get a good look at all of them.
Okay, you're just familiarizing yourself with the staff. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, it seems to be a pretty. I won't have you roll at this point, but I will make a mental note in case that comes up later.
Okay.
But you do get the idea. It's a pretty eclectic group. Humans, elves, halflings, dwarves, all sorts of people that are attending to the event. I think you get the distinct impression nobody around here, at least you don't recognize anybody from your contacts as being affiliated with any groups, or at least anybody that you know or anybody that you might recognize as maybe affiliating with a specific faction. It seems to be a pretty neutral staffing.
Okay.
And that if there are people that have affiliations, there are other people to kind of balance them out. You gather that's probably again why you guys were hired for this event, rather than having it staffed by just one family.
Okay. All right, that's it. Yeah, I just wanted to scope them out.
All right. Well, and a couple hours pass and people begin to show up for the event. Get my music going. That's not what I want. There we go. The music begins to play. It begins to liven up as the attendees show for the event, and there are about 100 people here initially that all kind of filter in droves, one after another. And I think you see a lot of people that you recognize, officials, maybe something you don't. I don't know how many of you kind of stay familiarized with the social ladder. Yeah, probably you. I'd say maybe Clove, Cordelia. The two of you recognize probably the most people out of the group. Probably showing up a little bit. That song was very short. I'm going to switch it to a different song because that one is very short and that's going to bother me. There we go. That's a little more classy. Throughout the night, people begin to. There are a few key figures that show up. One of them being the current chief of police, Hedgar Allsummer, who is a dwarven gentleman. Older, has probably been the police chief since near the city's founding. Very dour looking man. You see one of the another prominent figure is one of the high judges of the Gothford courts, Lord Chester Woodsley, who is a elderly human. Thank you, G, for that name. And last is the portmaster, Marietta Rulo, who is an elven woman who, as you can probably tell by her title, is the master of the ports. And other various nobility that you recognize, but I'm not going to sit here and name all 100 of them, but those are the ones that are probably the most important at the event. The family members, or the heads of the family, have not shown up yet. About 2 hours in, it's probably around 8:30. at this point. Hors d'oeuvres are being served. Is the word I was looking for, and people are well into their cups. Yes, Clove.
Just wondering, is Lady Wingate there?
Yes, let's say Lady Wingate is there.
Okay,
I wave. If
That's
I see
so
her.
good that she's like getting out.
Yeah, I think Lady Wingate is there. I think she is still wearing. She's wearing. I think she's wearing a navy blue dress, and she does have this sort of black armband, or kind of. There's this black bit of like frills. You get the some sort of ornamentation to her outfit that shows that she's still grieving, because it's only been like a week at this point, and she's there, and she shows up pretty early, and she shows up with some people, and kind of has a very like somber expression to her. If you wave and you see it, she nods and gives
Well,
a
if
wave.
she looks somber, I would just like sort of curtsy. I'd be
Okay.
like, hey.
Yeah, she does give a polite nod or wave in your direction. I don't think, unless you guys want to go and speak with her, I don't think she brings up conversation, probably because you guys bring up some painful memories to her.
Also, I was told not to approach her, so I won't.
Okay, yeah. But she does she does recognize you. Let's see. So we'll get into a couple of things that happened before the so within the first hour or so. There are a couple of events throughout the night that maybe get your attention. There's a moment pretty early in the evening after Marietta, the portmaster, arrives. She's standing near the bar at the balcony, and there is a kind of a heated argument that she is having with more of a debate than an argument with a few of the nobles that are in attendance over some increased shipping taxes at the docks, and her role in implementing that. Yeah, I don't think it's at the point where any of you need to intervene. It probably doesn't get that heated. But maybe whoever's stationed over near the bars catches some tidbits of that conversation. The High Judge, Lord Chester Woodsley, makes a bit of a commotion sitting at his table as he is eating some of the hors d'oeuvres and laughing uproariously amongst a group of other attendees, and is a very jolly looking fellow, and draws a lot of attention. I think he's making jokes, and he's doing like impressions, and he is calling a lot of attention to himself, probably to the chagrin of some of the other party goers who are a little more stately, given he is the High Judge and is acting like maybe a bit of a buffoon in their eyes. But
frat boying it up over there.
he's frat boying it up pretty bad. But he looks like he's having a lot of
shocked.
Quick question.
Yeah.
The people in the conversation with the portmaster, who are they? Can I clearly tell? Are they with one are they family henchmen with one of the families? Are they or is it just kind of general town celebrities that are annoyed that they have to pay more?
Okay, I think so here's what I'll say. With your connections, since we established this in fiction that you are familiar with a lot of the people here, I think you recognize some of them as being very prominent merchants within Gulford. Some of them are heads or at least executives of some of the major transport companies that bring the goods into the city, obviously for why they'd be upset by the increased taxes to their products. And I think they do have probably some family affiliations, probably mixed among them, would either probably 2 or 3 with some affiliations to the Calbits, given the Calbits sort of proximity to the docks, and then some with the Zartano, and the financial side of the town would be probably the ones that are engaged in this dispute.
Okay. And do I hear anything that may just good to pocket away in the memory as, you know, like either she seems to be unbiased, she seems to be biased one way or another.
So I think you catch
or the new taxes, anything like that.
Yeah, I think you catch a bit of the conversation. Make a perception check for me.
Okay, here we go. Ooh, 16 plus 7. So 22, 21, something.
Yeah, you catch a fair amount of the conversation. I think over the music, you do hear a few. It's like, these new taxes are outrageous. How do they expect us to do business and make a profit here anymore? And the Marietta replies and says, well, I just suppose you'll have to do more business to make up for it. There's a lot of infrastructure that is going into effect. We need to maintain the integrity of the docks and provide the necessary upgrades to our equipment, and the taxes are needed in order to do so. And says, and there's much like blustering and things going on between the others at this, and saying, I'm not sure why we need to front the cost of that. Shouldn't the city provide the funds to upgrade that? And she says, well, I'm afraid we can't rely on the current government to provide us with this the support that we need. So yes, we're taking it into our own hands, and we've negotiated these tax increases to help pay for these improvements. And if you don't like it, well, I'm sure you can take it up with your boss. And they kind of again bluster and bloviate a bit more, and then eventually sort of back down. And it was louder and more yelling than that, but I'm not going to yell into my mic right now. So for the sake of good radio, that's about what you get from that conversation.
Understood. Thank you.
Yes.
Can I do something?
Sure.
Yay. I want to kind of hang out, not right next to Clove, obviously, but sort of also near the bar area, and just kind of float in between people, like as they, I don't know, are people like getting up to get drinks, or are they like
there are some
serving from the bar?
There are some people serving from the bar. A lot of people are willing to wait and get up and go to the bar and get their drinks too.
Okay,
it just kind of depends.
So I want to kind of, as a little bit of time passes and people start to get like drunk and everything, kind of do. I brought my cards with me. It's as people are kind of standing there waiting, sort of like entertain some of the noble ladies, especially the drunk ones, because they love this, with like card tricks and like little illusions and stuff like that. But I want to also kind of watch for, I don't know, kind of get a feel for the people who are like comfortable here and who are like drinking, and then there's got to be some people who are not. And I want to know who those people are.
You're trying to get an idea of people who are acting out of the ordinary for an event like this. Okay. So that's tough. So you're making I won't have you make the performance check for the card, since that's not really what you're trying to do here.
I'm just doing like little, and I'll do like little illusions, because I can make my minor illusions be like an image and a sound. So I'll do like little like magical creatures and like things like that.
Okay. Make an insight check.
Great. Ooh, dirty 20.
Dirty 20. All right. I think you get a pretty good idea with that roll of people who might be acting a little out of the ordinary. As far as what you'd expect from people at a party like this, there are a few people who aren't drinking. Some of them you don't recognize as being overtly important. You're not really sure what their purpose here is at the party. And they're not like conglomerate. There's not like a table of people who aren't drinking and sitting there muttering and scheming amongst themselves. It's like one person here and there that is just kind of quietly observing the party and maybe declines to be entertained by your card tricks. And I think you notice that the chief of police, Hedgar Allsummer, is not drinking. And
That
he's
makes
sort of
sense.
sitting there, probably drinking a glass of water, maybe having a few of the hors d'oeuvres, and is just kind of sitting near the band and just listening to the music. And does seem to be keeping an eye on things that are going on around the party, and has, I think with your 20, has a sort of, maybe not credulous, a suspicious look on his face.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
he is suspicious of people, not that he is being suspicious.
Oh, he's so suspicious.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll just kind of hang out over there and kind of engage with people in that way, trying to like continue to keep a thumb on the pulse.
Okay. And yeah, there probably are a couple very drunk partygoers that are really in your card dress. One was like, darling, you have to tell me more about how you did that. Are you an entertainer? Were you paid here to do you do magic tricks? I volunteer for something. And she comes up and says, do you have the table? You saw people in half, or can you make me disappear? And seems like really into your magic tricks.
Is she way drunker than everyone around her?
Yes, yeah.
I use
Her cheeks are very red, and
Okay.
she's
great. I kind of like wink at her friends, and I use minor illusion to create this little like shimmering like shower of sparks around her, and I tell her she's invisible. And looking at everyone else like,
and some of them kind of, they go, ooh, where did she go? And are like kind of selling it in a very like cheesy way, but she's very drunk and not really she's like, oh, and I think she goes like running off and starts like tapping people on the shoulder. And I think you hear from behind you as Bruno is standing there and goes, really? It's fine, you're not making anybody mad, just keep it to yourself, and kind of heads over and just like waddles away.
he's so cranky.
Um,
I'm
And around
making
this-
people so happy.
around this time of the night, there is a bit of a probably a bit of a hush that falls over the ballroom. As the doors open again and some of the security escorts in, one after another, the matriarchs and patriarchs of the four families. And I think the people around, there isn't like, I mean, people don't like bow and stuff. They're not like the kings of the city, like in actuality, and the nobility don't really respond in a way that would convey that. But there is sort of a quiet, and everyone has this like silent respect for the four people these four individuals as they come in. The first one who enters is Faust Mephistos, the leader of the current patriarch, or the only patriarch of the Mephistosi, wearing a black suit, simple, with a red bow tie. His hair slicked back, his tiefling-esque horns kind of curving down the back of his head. He has a wide smile on his face, and immediately goes to like greeting with people and engaging with the other nobility around, and speaking with them, and has a very kind of pleasant demeanor about him. The next one who comes in is not alone. She is being escorted by four other kind of burlier individuals as her attendees for the evening. You see Maria Lycaon, in her wearing ironically a silver suit, and she has a sort of whitish hair that is braided back into a ponytail, though she appears still as young as she has been since the city's founding. She has a very stoic expression and immediately heads to one of the large table towards the center of the room, which has been sort of avoided by the other party goers, sits and just waits. Behind her, coming in together, you see Edward Calbert, the older, kind of wizened mage, wearing shimmering sapphire robes that kind of glisten in the ball lights, and he gives a kind of a discerning look over the ballroom and kind of follows up behind Faust, engaging in some conversation there with him, and Solomon Paracelsus comes in as well, kind of peeling off from Edward. He's wearing a gray and gold striped suit, towering above most of the other party goers here, and heads over to the table and sits across from where Maria is. And probably about for like 20 minutes after this, there's like quiet in the room. People start to act a little more serious and not really try to maintain as a professional decorum as they can, before things kind of return to a somewhat normal sense. Anything you guys are doing at this moment or would like to do?
What did Maria's, that is Maria, what did her attendees go and do?
I think they kind of stalk towards the edges of the ballroom and they sort of post up like kind of like the security in the room.
I'm going to begin a slow process of slightly shifting where I'm standing by the band and just kind of seek out an area that looks like one of the areas that I scouted out earlier that looked like a place where it couldn't really be seen from other places in the room. I'm basically trying to like get near a spot where I think people might go if they want to like talk, like have a conversation that's not overheard. Like I'm gonna go to there.
Okay. All right. So you sort of stalk around the room looking for like hit it secret conversation or try to position yourself in a way where you can overhear some conversation.
Yes, and I'm going to find an area of dim light.
Okay.
And then I'm going to stand there.
Okay.
Because then I will become invisible.
Okay.
And I will wait for someone to come into the area and have a secret conversation, and then I'll just secretly overhear them.
All right. Make a stealth check with advantage.
I sure will. Oh, I have dice. That was okay. That was terrible. Okay. 18.
Okay. So 18, you kind of station yourself there. Some people walk by and you catch some like bits of conversation, nothing like of importance, like have you tried the salmon and things like that. And probably there's one moment where two people come over. I think a man and a woman come over to the corner and they're having like a hushed conversation, and kind of just like around the pillar near where you are. And as you go to kind of listen in, they just start making out. And that probably lasts for like a good like 10 minutes, and it's just so awkward.
Great. I'll just stand there invisible like because I'm patient. Like I will stay here for like the entire party if I have to. Like I will wait.
There is, I think around this time, there's a bell that rings and the serving staff comes in, and like the head, like maitre d' or whoever's tending to the restaurant side of this thing, the food side of this thing announces that food will now be served. If everyone will take their seats, we will bring out the first course. And the music kind of dies down a bit, and people begin to shuffle their way towards the tables to sit and eat. Obviously, the four heads of the family are sitting alone, just the four of them, and having their table almost like separated from the rest of them, all these other tables surrounding this one in the center. and having some like hushed conversation amongst those four. I want everyone to make perception checks.
Brilliant.
Okay.
$22 for Clove.
Nice.
12.
26.
Nice.
9.
2.
Oh man!
I rolled a 1.
Okay, the 22 and the 26, though, I think is enough. The two of you...
My 2 is really, it sounds like 22. Does that
It
count?
does. If you stutter, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so I think here's what happens. Clove, you notice as Bruno is kind of walking around the perimeter, and I think he reaches into a pocket and pulls out like a stone from his pocket, and holds it up to his ear, gives a like confused look on his face, and then whispers some words into it, and drops it back down into the pocket of his jacket. And then there's a couple of guards near him, and he kind of points to them, and he points to the door. He walks around the room, and I think you catch Pilar. You catch him in the conversation as you're standing there invisible still, and says, he's speaking to some of the other guards around, doesn't know you're there, but just says, go check downstairs, something's going on down there. And those two guards nod and proceed to investigate. At which point, there is a very faint bell that begins to sound. Hold on, I'll double check. I thought I put something in here. No, I don't. But there's like a very light, like alarm sound that begins to sound over the music, and I think very slowly some of the partygoers begin to pick up on it. You notice immediately Maria kind of straightens up, and she looks over her shoulder to the guards that were with her, the four Nurian, and gives a nod over to them, and the four of them head out of the room as well. At which point there is let's see if this will work. There's sort of a rumbling noise for a moment that overtakes the ballroom. Tremors and the chandeliers begin to shake for a moment, and everyone kind of goes quiet, and the music stops. And as everyone stands there, yes.
How far is Bruno from me?
He's circling around the room, and he is currently walking towards where you guys are posted.
Okay. I'm gonna just make a beeline over to him and bend down and ask, what would you like us to do?
He says, and as the music has stopped and everything, he says, I'm not really sure right now. And then you hear another noise. This roaring that echoes from outside, shaking the windows for a moment, and immediately the four at the table stand. You see kind of a flash as Edward, this arcane force seems to cloak him in a moment, and Bruno kind of says, ladies and gentlemen, just if you don't mind, just everybody just stay where you're put. Everything's going to be fine. We're going to take care of this. And then there is another tremor that shakes the building louder and stronger than before. And you hear the sound as some of the glass above you begins to crack, and then break as shards begin to rain down on the ceiling. And almost immediately as that happens, there is an alarm that begins to sound very loud in here, and the shutters around the ballroom in a matter of seconds just snap closed, cutting off all light and airflow from outside, and everyone around the room begins to sort of panic, and there are sounds of people kind of like there's arguing and some shrieking, and there's chaos that begins to overtake the room. And then once again, you hear that roar from outside, closer than before, shakes the room again, and from the wooden shutters, suddenly seize and shake as if something very large has impacted the side of the building, or the shutters themselves, and you hear scraping of something sharp against metal, coming from outside. As you watch, the shutters hold. However, there is a slight bend and snap, and there is a gap that opens up in the shutters, and then you just hear this as this cloud of white gas begins to pour into the ballroom from above. I need everyone to make Constitution saving throws.
Yikes.
Ah!
Oh boy. So far my d20s have been hitting.
Constitution.
Oh God.
I got a dirty 20.
I got 19 total.
Nice.
15.
Nice.
13.
Okay.
6.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Pilar and Sebastian, the two of you feel this kind of this your eyes kind of flutter for a moment, and you stagger as one by one everyone around you throughout the ballroom suddenly everyone begins to fall asleep. And as this happens, and almost everyone in the room falls unconscious except for probably 10 or so guards, the 4 in the center of the room, the 4 patriarchs, or the 4 heads of the family, and you see the other members of your group begin to conk out as well, as most everyone in this ballroom suddenly falls asleep. And then alarm continues to sound, and you hear from outside once again this roar echo from atop the building. And we're going to go and take a break here. And we will be back to continue. So I guess hold with us for a second, everyone. We'll be back in a second, and we will see you soon.
Hashtag yikes.
And welcome back, everyone. Thank you for bearing with us on our short break. Just want to go and plug again just a couple of things. We have lots of shows up on YouTube, youtube.com/Game Nights, 2 G's and a K. You can check out on all of our previous shows there. We had a recent episode of Wonderworld Origins for you to enjoy. We have, which will be going up on Wednesday. Other episodes of this show, if this is the first one you watch and you want to become acquainted with the stories of these fine folk, we have Wild Space. The first season has just capped off, so you can get caught up on all of that on YouTube before the next arc, the next season picks up in a few weeks. And yeah, that's basically it. We'll cover more at the end, but for now, let's get back to the drama. Which I need some. Wait for the music to end. Cut. All right. Dramatic sound effects. Alarm going in the distance. There we go. As most of you have fallen asleep, 2 of you remain up. Bruno is still up. And I think he was standing next to Clove when you conked out. He looks around, sees some people still standing, and says, "Security on me." Like kicks at Clove a bit, which Clove you kind of stir to consciousness as this happens. And he says, "Get up. Get everyone else up."
I would like to send Themison flying through the gap that was created in the blinds.
Okay.
I want to see what's coming at us.
Okay.
Because I can see through his senses.
Sure. Yeah, so he goes soaring up, and it's probably a little different. No, it's probably all right. He's tiny, so kind of goes flying up through it. You can see the damage caused. You can see these massive indentations in the side of the building from something very large that hit the side of it. There's a lot of fog out here, and it's hard to make out everything. I'm going to have him make a perception check.
Sweet. His perception is mine. Oh, shoot, I rolled on roll 20. Please be good. Natural 20. Why did you roll twice? 33 total.
Jeez. All right. Well, I think he notices a couple of things. You hear that alarm sounding, echoing out here, which if that gets annoying, I'll cut it. You hear some sirens outside. You see down on the street level, which you're on the 25th floor of this building. Down at the street level, you see 3 large trucks that are now parked outside the building at odd angles, like they came driving up on it, some of them on curbs. You see just the tiny specks of dozens of people beginning to kind of flood out of those trucks into the building itself. And then you hear, or Themison hears the rushing of wind as he turns around and sees the massive form of a gleaming metallic brass dragon perched on top of this building, looking right at him, kind of.
What are the odds he can come back at the building safely? Because I'd like him to.
I'm gonna have him roll. We're just gonna do a real quick initiative check between him and the dragon.
Oh, good. Oh gosh, I have a sheet for him, right? I don't have a sheet for him. I'll look up an owl really quick. I don't know what his dex is. Hopefully it's great.
Let's see, owl. He's just
I got it. It's just a +1.
All right, roll for it. Actually,
11. That hit my plate. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm so sorry.
12.
Great. Beat him by 1. Thanks.
Is gonna make an attack. 24, so I think that probably hits.
Probably, yeah.
And just eats the owl, pretty much.
Oh, good. Bye.
And your perception of Themison is cut off.
That's a tragedy. Okay. Well, fortunately, I'm still invisible.
You are still invisible. The rest of you are being roused. Yes.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I'm going around the room. I find Cordelia first. I find Enza, and then I'm searching because I didn't know she went invisible. Like I see Seb, I can't find Pilar at all. So I am searching high and low.
Shoot. When Clove looks panicked, I'll move because will be like, it's fine, and then I'll let everyone know. There is a big bronze dragon outside. Also, there are trucks. Lots of people coming in the building.
What are the families doing? What are the heads doing?
I think you see Maria is kind of has her face is kind of scrunched up, and she is has a really angry look, a scowl that is leveled towards Faust right now. The other two, Edward and Solomon, are unperplexed at this point. They're just kind of staying there waiting for something to happen. Faust has a large smile across his face and looks, ignoring Maria, turns towards Bruno and says, "Mr. Demopoulos," and Bruno kind of snaps to attention and says, "Yes, sir." Says, "I believe this is your area. Do you have this handled?" And says, "Yes, sir. I'll send security right away. Please stay here." And goes rushing over to those of you that are awake and says, lazy sods, and begins like kicking at one of the other guards, says, wake up, and turns to those of you that are now like rousing from your sleep and says, all right, Team B, you're going to sweep the lower floors, find out what's going on. Team A, you're staying here, security, make sure nobody comes into the room. Got it?
All right.
Got it.
All right, get moving then.
I make a beeline for the room with my scimitar, and I'm grabbing like Enza's stuff too. Like I'm getting it all and meeting them out in the hall.
Okay. So you head out to you guys are able to really easily grab your stuff from the room, any of your equipment, things like that. I
cast a spell. Wait.
Yes.
I want to cast flame arrows / bullets on Enza's gun. Because I can concentrate on that for up to an hour.
Nice.
That's so long.
Yeah, so I'm gonna... Wait! I just touched the end of Enza's gun.
Okay, the rifle, I'm assuming.
Yeah. The
Yes.
big one. The biggest one that she has.
Does it have a cool look? Like, does it have like little ghost fire coming off of the barrel or something? That'd be sick.
I like it.
What do you want us to look like,
Yes.
Cordelia?
I'm like, that's your spell,
Like
dude.
that. I think there's I think it glows a little bit, and then I think there is this like arcane kind of scrawling that appears like on the sides of the barrel of the gun, and it starts to glow like,
I like it.
red.
Cool.
That's really cool.
What's it do?
It makes your bullets flame.
Nice.
Yeah, it's new.
Top 40 radio from Pandora.
Alexa, stop.
So good.
Okay. So you guys are on the 25th floor. You have there are 2 stairwells that head down to the that head up and down the length of the building. There's also 3 elevators if you want to take those.
All right. And Pilar said that there was people coming in the building. What'd
Yeah.
you see?
4 big trucks driving up onto like the carbon things, and people coming in.
They like police?
Don't think so, but maybe. I didn't get a really good look. Like it could have been SWAT vans or something, but it also could have been like nefarious armored vans.
All right. Well, let's see if we can at least blockade one of the doors, one of the stairwells.
Mm-hmm.
Blockade that, disable the elevators, and just leave one point of entry and
Yeah.
exit, I guess. But I have a feeling we're gonna have to deal with stuff before we can get people out of here anyway.
Okay. So you guys are going to try to block off one of the stairwells, and then you're staying up here, or you're going to start to do a Bruno set and start sweeping down.
Start heading down, just
Okay.
making sure no one else can get up here as we're
Okay.
heading down.
All right, I like that. What do you want to do to blockade the stairwell?
What other gear is available in that little room?
Guns, swords.
Okay, I think actually
Put an
rather than
elaborate
that,
trap.
rush back into the ballroom and start lugging out one of the like food tables or something. Just
Okay.
enough furniture to
Yeah.
block up the door.
Okay, so just piling up as much crap as you can and hopefully blocking off. All right, I like that. So yeah, that doesn't take you very long. A couple minutes to lug that over while the rest of your group is getting situated. Okay. Yes.
So while they're doing that, and I'm not super much help with that, and I don't have any situating to do, I'm just gonna be watching the 4 heads of the families, just casually, out of the corner of my eye. Like, what are they just chilling? Are they like, I guess we're fighting a bronze dragon today?
Yeah. Again, they don't look too worried. They look more irritated. I think Maria looks the most irritated out of all of them, and I think you hear her kind of like lose her patience, and she go. I think you hear her say something along the lines of, "What the fuck, Faust? This feels like you're doing." And Faust I think is more kind of entertained by everything that's going on right now, and finally looks back to her and says, I had nothing to do with this. I don't know what you're talking about. Which seems to just irritate her more. But for the most part, they're just staying put, seeing what happens, because they have lots of people that are in lots of security that are now protecting them and waiting to see if this dragon shows back up.
That's really cool of them, I say reluctantly.
So you block off one of the stairwells. The elevators, I think the lights on the elevators are flashing. You get the impression that, actually, I think here's what happens. You're watching the elevators, I guess trying to figure out some way to disable them or to turn them off. I think there's a moment where you see all the lights in the building suddenly shut off.
Well, don't have to worry about those anymore.
That's that.
Let's go down.
I'll take point. And Seb will lead the way.
How dark is it?
It is. In the stairwell, it is like pitch black.
I can't see.
What do you do?
I guess I'm gonna cast light.
Okay. Gives you some light as you head down this stairwell. Okay, so the five of you with Sebastian taking point begin to circle your way down the steps. And with the time that it took you to block up the door, I think you get about one floor down and to the 24th floor, and you begin to hear footsteps coming up the steps towards you.
All right.
And then wheeling around the corner as you hear them approaching you, meeting on about the 24th floor, three individuals, very tall, very broad-shouldered, with red and blue and green colored scales. You see three half dragons wearing like riot gear, carrying automatic rifles, come around the corner. As soon as they see you, they pull up their guns and go to shoot. And I need everyone to roll initiative.
Oh boy!
Yikes!
Okay.
Let me go ahead and put on some fight music.
18 initiative for Pilar.
17 for Clove.
Okay, so 10. 13.
11.
That's a natural 1 for 4.
Oh
Gosh
no!
dang it, Seb!
And I'm right at the front of the group, so that's going to be great.
Poor
I
baby.
just rolled in roll 20.
Oh
Yeah, everybody go ahead and put your stuff in roll 20. You can roll
Yeah.
and update it to whatever you rolled IRL.
It's almost what I rolled. Arrow. There you go.
All right. I need to roll for them.
I rolled, but I didn't pop up on the turn order.
Did you click your token?
Mm-hmm. It's in, yeah.
Try it again.
It's okay.
There
There
you
you
are.
are.
There we are. That's weird.
It happens. Initiative. Oh, terrible.
Good.
So worse
Terrible.
than 4.
Oh no.
They rolled a 4. And I think you probably, you have a higher dex than they do. So yeah, that'll be Pilar going first.
Whew, boy. Oh, geez. Well, I'm going to rapidly take my violin out of its case and play a quick tune and cast Barkskin on myself to up my AC. And I'm going to make it a little bit jaunty as I inspire Enza with bardic inspiration.
Sweet.
It always gets me with bards. Like the reaction to a stressful and dangerous situation is, let me play a song.
Yeah, I'm like,
let me sing you the song.
A weird way to be able to respond to situations. But that's great. So you begin to quickly pluck away at your or saw away at your violin, and you are now inspired, and your AC is higher. Okay. All right. So Clove, it is your turn.
Okay, I'm probably kind of near the back of the group, right? Probably coming down the stairs.
Yeah, I mean,
grab
it's
stuff out of a room.
Yeah, I mean, you're all kind of together on the stairwell.
Okay.
It's cramped, but I'll let you guys move past each other.
Okay, well, basically, sorry, because I had to run and get Winnie. How far are the people away from us?
Not very far. You're basically at the top of the stairs. They're at the bottom of them, so maybe 10 feet.
Okay. I holler out, "It's about to get a bit icy," and then I cast Sleet Storm on the bottom of the staircase. So everybody be careful.
Yeah, well, it's also a 20-foot tall cylinder and a 40-foot rate. It's gonna get
It's gonna get everybody.
That's gonna get like the whole top part of the building.
Like 3 flights of stairs.
It's gonna get like 3 floors. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. No, I
That's
don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
Dude, that's sick though.
Sorry.
Keep that in mind.
I would contain it to the stairwell, but it'll get the first 2, maybe 3 floors of the building.
I can't predict that, right? Then shoot. Crap. I'm gonna go ahead and give myself. I'm gonna copy Pilar and give myself Barkskin.
Okay.
And then get ready to attack and be helpful. That's what I'm gonna do.
That's fine. You guys go first, so you get to do all your setup stuff. All right. Enza.
I'm gonna shoot at them.
Okay.
My fancy gun, and they haven't gone yet, so I have advantage.
Yes.
Oh, I rolled like the same thing. I'm using my hunting rifle, so that is a 19 to hit.
That hits.
Okay, and so what extra damage do they take because of the fire? Do you roll that?
They just take an extra 1d6 fire damage. You got 12 shots of that, so.
Oh, okay. All right. So for 7 piercing and 3 fire damage.
Okay.
To the one who's probably in front.
Okay.
So there's like a green and a
There's
blue.
a red, a green, and a blue.
Okay, got it.
Now, my question is, I'm going to say the red one's in the front. Do you fire at the red one, or do you fire at one of the other ones?
Well,
Do we all have the knowledge of dragons?
Enza does.
yeah, I was gonna say I do.
Yeah.
So, no, I would not fire at the red one. That's the front, probably one of the back ones. So.
Okay, that's fair. I'll say the blue one. So he takes the hit.
Blue one. Pew.
There we go. All right. Okay, so he takes the full hit, pierces through the body armor that he's wearing, and staggers him for a moment as this explosion rings out in this really cramped stairwell. So all of your ears are probably ringing a bit. You get a second shot though, don't you?
Yeah, it's probably super loud. Let me see. I do get extra attack, and I forgot as a bonus action. I'm going. Wait, no, is it an action? Oh, yeah, as a bonus action, I'm going to Slayer's Prey. I should have done this first. Whoops.
Oh.
So I'm gonna designate the green one the green dragon and take a shot at it, and so I get to do an extra 1d6 damage.
Oh,
to it.
nice.
It's kind of like Hex or Hunter's Mark, I mean. Ooh, that was a lot better. Okay, so that's 10, 14 piercing and 4 fire damage.
Did you roll to hit?
Oh no, I didn't. Whoops.
Do you
Well
still have
then.
advantage because he
I
hasn't
still
gone
have
yet?
advantage though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're inspired just in case.
Oh yeah, that's like 26.
Just kidding.
Okay. So 14 piercing and 3 fire, you said?
Yeah, no, 4 fire.
Oh, okay. 18 points damage. Ouch. All right. So you level shots at the 2 of the dragons and the half dragons in the back. Ouch. Okay. So that'll be Cordelia's turn then.
Okay. I want to Ray of Frost, the one in the front, and try to slow him down.
Okay.
Is that an attack? Yeah. That's not very good. Well, 16?
16 does not hit.
Okay, I didn't think so. Well,
Yeah. So, or it hits, but it hits the body armor, which seems to absorb the impact of the frost. Seems to maybe negate some of the magical
dang it.
energies.
Okay, that's it.
Okay. Sebastian.
I am going to take my last stick of dynamite and huck it at him. What are the stairs made of?
Concrete.
Okay, but I'm taking the stick
Why?
and chucking it right, trying to get it right in the 3 of them, and it's only within 5 feet of that point, so we'll be fine. They're gonna have a bad day though.
But also dynamite.
All right. Go ahead
am
and do it.
for this.
No. He does it. Go ahead and do it.
So
they
for it.
have to make a DC 12 dex save. Ooh, that's real good damage. That would be 15 bludgeoning on a fail or half on a success.
Okay, so they need to make it's a dexterity saving throw.
Yep,
And what's the DC on it again?
only 12.
12. Okay. So
You gave us this dynamite.
no, there's something else. They all succeed.
By how much?
They succeed. You don't need to know.
I was gonna cutting words maybe, but fine.
You can't. I mean, can you cutting words a saving throw?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, you can choose which one you want to. You
No,
can
it's
cutting words one
fine.
of them if you want.
It's fine.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you. It's my rolls. They all 3 succeed, but how? Oh God, now I got to pull up the dynamite. What's the rules for the dynamite? How much damage does it do again? It's the
So it's 3d6 bludgeoning on a fail or half on a success.
okay.
So
And what's the
15 total.
Okay, I gotta pull up something because each additional stick increases the damage by 1d6. All right,
I only had. Well, do they have dynamite?
Well,
They
Cole
might.
has one too.
No, I'm
well,
Does that
blowing up
affect
their
it?
supply.
here's what happens: roll another 5d6 for me.
Okay. Oh, none of that was above a 3. So let's see. 2, 4, 6. Only 10.
All right. So 10 points damage plus what did you roll before?
I had rolled 15.
So that's 25 points damage, and they all succeeded. So that's 12. And then the fire one takes half of that, so it'll be
It's bludgeoning?
Oh, bludgeoning. That's right. So he takes the full 12. I always forget. I thought it was fire.
Hey, just to
Um,
clarify, you were right. Cutting words does not affect a saving throw.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so yeah, here's what you take the stick of dynamite, you hurl it, and it kind of boom off the wall and then falls to their feet. It explodes, and then you feel that shockwave as you kind of push back in your ear. I mean, none of you can hear right now. I'm actually going to say everyone on the stairwell is deafened for this moment as you hear one explosion and feel it, and then you feel this like second concussive blast of something else that they were apparently carrying. Is detonated, and I think at that moment you also see it as the concrete stairs that are under them begin to crack, and those cracks are sort of spider webbing up to where you guys are standing. Hasn't collapsed yet, but that is happening at this moment. Anything else, Sebastian?
Let me just double check what that does. Yeah, I think I'm, after having done that to them, going to spend a key point and do patient defense. So any attacks against me are at disadvantage. So I think I pissed them right off. And
Yeah.
I think they're going to attack me.
Okay, so it is now the dragon's turns.
Oh, I thought you meant the bronze dragon. I was like, why is he?
The half dragon's turns. Okay, so here's what they do. The red one in the red one in the front, I think, goes charging towards you, Sebastian.
Mhm.
And he is going to take 2 swipes with a sword that he is carrying, a long sword.
Disadvantage.
At disadvantage.
Let me just check one of my drunk monk things, just in case.
Yeah, boy.
Go ahead.
I know what you're doing.
Okay, they both miss.
Okay. Are either of the other dragons within 5 feet of me?
No, because this one ran up to you.
Okay.
The other 2 are not. They are actually pulling out rifles to take shots, so they are not moving up to you.
Okay. Yeah. So then I don't do anything. I just dodge.
Okay. Meanwhile, while this one takes 2 swipes, which you easily sort of deflect the sword out of the way and dodge the second one, you hear the clicking as a kind of a snapping, just like muffled by the again. It's just this barely audible snapping noise as the other 2 pull up their rifles and are going to level shots at. Let's see. One of them is going to take a shot at a single shot at Enza because of your shooting before. That'll be. Oh wait, that's not supposed to be a disadvantage. That would have been a 17 plus. I think that's 20.
It's
Okay, for 9 piercing damage.
okay.
The other one is going to use their burst fire with the rifle, and is going to send a spray of bullets in a 15-foot cone towards those of you at the top of the stairs. So I think that'll be Enza, Clove, Pilar, Cordelia. You guys will have to make dexterity saving throws.
Great. 16.
Yes.
14.
I think it's a fail.
24.
Success.
5.
Fail. Okay, so those of you that fail take damage. The other 2 are able to avoid the shots.
I grab Enza. We do like a pirouette. Just kidding. We don't have.
That's 15 points of piercing damage.
Oh.
I don't have that many hit points, you guys.
How do
Oh
you not have 15 hit points?
no! No, I have 15. I just don't have that many.
Oh, yeah. No, me neither.
Okay. But
Do not have many.
at the top of the round, with the explosion that just went off, you watch as the stairs and the concrete beneath you cracks, caves, and begins to crumble away. I need everyone to make a dexterity saving throw.
I just
yes.
made one. Oh, that's so much better. 19 for Clove.
Good.
Dirty 20.
21.
Okay, I
Thanks.
heard 21, dirty 20, 19, 1,
And 14.
14. Everyone succeeds except for Cordelia, who I think just takes the gunfire, is like listing towards the edge of the stairwell. As the concrete begins to crumble away, the dragons are going to make theirs. Fail. Why am I still rolling at disadvantage? Hold on, that still would have failed. Success and fail. 2 of the dragons go tumbling down into with Cordelia.
Can I try to grab her? Is she starting to fall?
I'm gonna say with the you guys all made the dexterity. Well, what did you roll on your dexterity saving throw?
8, 14.
No, I'm gonna say that you have to lunge out of the way.
I rolled a dirty 20.
And 21, and I had taken patient defense.
You're too far away, Sebastian. I'll have give Pilar the opportunity to make a strength saving throw.
Oh! Natural 20 for 21.
Okay, so here's what happens. Two of the half dragons go tumbling down to the lower floors. You see one of them cracks like on the edge of the stairwell beneath, like on the railing, and then goes tumbling and down enough feet to kill them. The other one, I think, hits the stairwell beneath, does take some damage, but is still up. And then the red one with Sebastian is able to avoid falling. Pilar, you grab onto Cordelia as you see her tumbling over the edge, grabbing onto her forearm. You are pulled with her, but you are able to leverage yourself enough on the railing, kind of holding onto her forearm. Cordelia, you are now dangling down from this floor, and you just see this just endless abyss beneath you down to the first floor. So that's what happens on the top of the round. I'll roll damage for the other dragon, but yeah, Pilar, is your turn.
My shoulder's like pulling out of socket.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm assuming it's going to be some sort of a strength check to pull her up, and if I fail, I'll drop her.
No, you have her. I'll say to pull her up will be your action.
All right, I will do that.
Okay.
And I'm just like swearing, like straight, like no stopping for breath, litany of elvish swearing.
Okay, so you pull with your action. You pull Cordelia back up to safety. Cordelia, you are both now prone on the stairs.
Yeah, pull you up, and I'm just like patting your like face and shoulder, like just swearing, like so relieved that you're alive, but also really mad.
I'm fine. We're fine.
Oh boy! And then bonus action, I point at the red half dragon and cast Hex upon him. Hex upon your house.
Okay, you hex that half dragon. What are you hexing?
I'm going to hex his strength.
Strength. Okay.
I feel like that's usually my tactic. Oh, so what my hex looks like, lots of like thorny, really mean-looking brambles grow out of like every fold of his armor and bloom and quickly wilt these huge colorful roses, and as they wilt, the center of the roses look like skulls. The petals just like fall in such a way.
Very intense. And so your bark skin falls at that point. Okay. All right. So that's Pilar's turn. Clove. Is Clove still here?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I'm here. I'm here. I'm sorry.
Oh,
okay.
I'm here. What am I doing? I don't even know. It's really hard. How far away is the red dragon?
From you, not very far.
Okay.
10 feet.
Just because I'm annoyed at them and the ground just fell out, I'm thorn whipping that one's face.
Do it.
Okay. So I'm going to roll dice, and that's a +7. Let's see. Here we go. Dirty 20.
That hits.
And that would be a 1 or 2d6. Here we go. That'll be 6 piercing damage. That's not
nice.
Great,
and are you pulling, or are you just gonna let him stay there?
If I pull them, will they go down into the hole?
I could say you could leverage that because you're at the top of the stairs. You could probably move enough to try to yank them into the hole with it.
And then just release the thorn whip so that they fall down the hole?
Yeah, it automatically releases at the end of it. So I would, that's typically how I define it. So yeah, I'd say you could try that, and they'll just make a save to try to keep from falling down.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah, so you you grab him with your chain and roadhog him all to the center of the the stairwell, and he reaches out towards the railing to try to catch onto it with a dexterity saving throw. That's a 4. So you yank him to the side. He lets out a roar, and this kind of like gout of flame comes out of his mouth as he goes tumbling down and down and down and down, and until he is well out of sight. And that dragon, half dragon, is dead too. Nice, very cool.
Well, that worked.
Yeah. That's all I'm gonna do. So
And there's still the green one that is now a level below you guys, but is still alive. But yeah, that's the end of your turn, Clove.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Enza.
Enza is going to yell out in Draconic, "What are you doing here?" to the green dragon.
Okay. I think
I don't know what that sounds like. Draconic with a southern accent.
Beautiful, I bet.
Boost
Yeah.
Roda.
Boost Roda. Okay, so you yell out, and as he's pulling himself up to his feet, I think you just hear him bark up to you in Draconic and says, "Justice for the Empire." That's all he says.
Okay, and she's gonna train her weapon on him, and is gonna, like, if he takes another shot, then if he looks like he's gonna shoot again, then she's going to shoot him back.
Okay, so you're ready in action.
Yes.
Okay. That will end Enza's turn. Cordelia.
Great. Can I roll over to where I can hear the dragon voice coming from?
Yeah, you're here.
I mean, I'll stand up, but
Oh,
I forgot we all have tinnitus.
and yeah, I mean, it's you guys are fine. I mean, you're not really deaf, because that would have made this whole thing much more difficult and less narratively appealing to not be able to hear the Dragonborn's response. So yeah, I think your hearing is coming back.
Great. I firebolt him.
Okay.
Just as this.
21.
21 hits.
I get 2 of the d10s.
2d10.
I
Yep.
can't remember how much damage my spells do. That is 15 fire damage.
Woo. Woof. Okay. 15 points of fire damage as the green dragonborn is pelted with a ball of fire, and as he's trying to get to his feet, he's kind of slammed back down onto the stairs. Okay.
Okay, I don't know what he's saying, but I look down over the edge and I go, "Fuck you."
Sebastian.
About how far away is he from me?
Over the edge of the stairs, 10 or 15 feet straight down.
Okay. Oh, I really want to just jump down there and punch him, but I think rather than doing that, I am going to toss one of my throwing knives at him, see what that does, and see if I need to stick him with more.
Okay.
So starting with one throwing knife. Yeah, like the lady said, fuck you! That's going to be a 22 to hit.
Hits.
6 piercing damage.
He's still up, but it sinks into his body armor.
All right, one more throwing dart. 21 to hit.
Hits.
Another 6 piercing damage.
It's still up, but he's, well, I was gonna say he's prone, but he's also right below you guys, so yeah, I'm not gonna worry about that.
If you want to keep your key, I got this.
Yeah, no, because more thinking about how I would get back up, and that would be a whole thing that we don't need to deal with.
That's true.
So I'm just gonna. He now has like a knife sticking out of each shoulder.
Okay, that's gonna put it to his turn as he stands, seeing the situation. He looks to the door to the 23rd floor, and I think he shoulder rushes, or he just rushes straight through that door, or goes to leave. So I guess, Enza, you have an opportunity to take a attack of opportunity while he's fleeing, if you'd like, but
Yeah, she probably takes it. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, his response wasn't that compelling or sympathetic.
That is a 20, so total of 28 to hit.
That hits.
Double the dice. Oh no. Well, so that's 13. 27? Nope, 31.
Is that with your fire?
Nope, forgot about the fire. That's another 4.
Yeah, he only had 3
This
hit
guy.
points left.
Yeah, I'm sure.
He's toast. I think he goes rushing towards the door, puts a hand on it to push forward, and suddenly the gunshot rings out and just blood splatters against that wall. And he sinks down, kind of grabbing onto the handle as it he just has one hand locked around it as he slumps against, like, face first against the wall.
Good
All right.
shot.
That'll end initiative.
So it's completely like dark down this rest of the stairwell, right?
It is, yeah. I mean, those of you with dark vision can see a little bit further. You can see a
I have
couple.
my light.
You do have light, which is aiding in that. You can probably see like 6 or 7 stories down when you hold the light over it. But yeah, you can't see the bottom.
You don't see any lights coming up or anything yet?
Not currently. Make a perception check. Those of you that are looking over the edge.
Yeah.
I will.
12.
Ooh. 21.
10.
Okay. I'll see with the 21.
Mm-hmm.
You hear nobody isn't immediately coming up the steps. I think you do hear some commotion, some echoing, and some very muffled conversation echoing up from below. The only thing I think you catch is very faintly in the darkness, you see a spark of like a trail of electricity carry itself up the railing of the steps just for a moment, and then it stops.
So there are definitely more coming. Also, which dragons do lightning again?
Orca doesn't know, but Enza probably does.
Yeah,
We all turn and look at
just
Enza.
read that book on dragons.
Yeah, it Enza, you would know. It depends on the metallic dragons, or if they're chromatic dragons. Blue chromatic dragons do lightning.
Bronze.
Yeah, bronze metallic dragons.
You don't say.
I thought the one outside was a brass dragon.
The one outside was a brass dragon. Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Because we've been
I
saying
said-
both.
Yes, the one outside is a brass dragon.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Woo! Because I thought it was bronze. I was freaking out.
We've been saying both, and I was like, wait, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Because those colors are so different.
All right, so I relate that to.
All right. Well, there
No.
is some lightning coming up the stairs.
Great.
Also, that dragon was way too big to fit in the stairwell.
I don't know. Dragons can shapeshift. I don't know anything.
Well, some can, which Enzo would probably know. But yeah, just in context of what you know, the dragon would be too big to fit up in its dragonness. So what do
we're
you
going
guys want to do?
Are we going to hunker down here and like wait for others and trying to take them out also, or what is the plan?
I don't
Well,
know
I mean, we
that.
can't keep going down these stairs.
Yeah, I think we make our way across 24th floor, see what's going on in that stairwell. See if we can't just play Merry Hell and force them to slalom their way up here.
Yeah, and I don't know that there are many other people coming after us.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go look at the other stairwell.
But so it would
B-team.
be about a 10-foot gap up from the, like there's 10 feet of broken stairs now.
Yeah, it'd be very difficult for someone to try to get up.
Especially if they're in full riot gear and carrying ordnance and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Carrying
Unless they
dynamite.
repel up. So, which this isn't Siege, so they don't have all that equipment.
Just wishing I had ball bearings or caltrops right now or something to drop
I was
behind
thinking the
us.
same thing.
But nope. Where's our
alright.
rogue?
If we have a plan, then we should like go do that thing really quickly.
All right.
Okay.
So I guess we go to the other stairwell, hopefully.
So you guys want to like cut across the 24th floor and then down the stairwell on the other side. So then you have that top of that stairwell is blocked off, and then the stairwell is broken. So
Oh, shoot. I
yes.
never made a concentration check for my flame bullets.
Oh yeah, when you took the damage, you took 15, so it's just
15
DC 10.
Well, I rolled an 11, so
Good, you're fine.
plus something.
Yeah.
I still have
Sorry, I forgot.
9 fire bullets.
Yay!
Yeah. Okay, so you head across the 24th floor. This floor doesn't seem, obviously not a big ballroom. There are more hallways here. It looks like more like office spaces on this floor. Are you still leading the charge, Sebastian?
Yep.
Okay. You cross the other side without any sort of detriment. Everything seems fine.
I would pause at the door to kind of listen, see what's going on the other side.
Make a perception check.
13. If we're not in combat, I can't do shit.
You don't hear anything immediately on the other side of the door.
Wait. Before we go through the door, I want to try something.
Sure.
I want to take the gem of seeing out of my pocket,
Okay.
and I want to use one of the charges and try to look through it. I don't know if it'll help, but
I mean, it'll help if there's anything trying to hide from you. So you gain
true sight.
true sight.
Oh.
Out to range.
It's for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, out to range for like 100 feet or something like
for
that.
120 feet. Yeah.
Yeah. As you stare through it. So
Yeah. So I'm gonna hold it.
so looking through it on this floor, looking around, you don't see any anything that immediately catches your eye as far as invisible creatures or shapeshifters or anything like that. Everything seems to check out. If you crack through the stairwell and you guys begin to look down the stairs, you also don't see anything on the other side of the door.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
All right.
Okay. You head down the next 2 floors. Again, like far below, you occasionally hear the sound of like a door slamming or something happening below you, but you're not really sure how far or where they're at until you reach the 23rd floor and round down to the 22nd, at which point something does catch your attention. As you look at the landing at the 22nd floor, the door that leads into the hallways and the interior is broken, like off its hinges. And there are like claw marks along the interior or like the frame of the door, which is a little bit broken, like something very large pushed its way through.
How large?
At least door sized. Yes.
How about brass dragon sized?
Knowing that this
Probably
this building is a landmark and stuff, basically, like, would I have any sense that the dragon described would like have busted through windows? Like, there's a bank of windows that are bigger on one side or another. Like, do I have any sense of kind of where I think the point of entry could have been for something big? And
If something bigger comes through, it's hard to tell. I mean, there are lots of windows on this building. If they were going to bust through windows and try to force their way in, it could have been on any floor.
okay.
So, as far as that's concerned, there's nothing immediately I think that stands out to you as where a point of ingress would be, except for the top of the building with the big vaulted glass ceiling,
Yeah.
or the lobby.
Okay.
on the first
Okay. Shoot. Well, then I don't have any ideas.
Yeah, but again, this isn't that big.
Okay. Does this look half dragon size then, like kind of about the size of the other guys that we just fought?
It would be bigger. something
than
that would have had trouble getting through this door, would have had to break it in order to get through, would have been definitely bigger than the half dragon, because they're human size, just like slightly bigger than than your average human.
And
Cool.
just to clarify, this is us coming down from the 23rd, looking in towards the 22nd.
Yes.
Those marks look like it's breaking into the 22nd.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We may want to try and sneak up on whatever big nasty got in here.
I know that time is of the essence, but give me just 1 minute. And Enza's going to use her primeval awareness to
Okay.
sense for her favorite enemy, which is Durgans.
Cool.
Okay.
Dragons.
And you're doing the new ranger thing where you get like more of a radar of where things are at, correct? Or is this?
Yeah, so if I spend 1 minute in concentration, you can sense whether any of your favorite enemies are present within 5 miles of you.
Okay.
This feature reveals which of your favorite enemies are present, their numbers, and the creature's general direction and distance from you.
All right.
So if there's any monstrosities or dragons.
Okay. Then this is what you get. As you sense out around you this kind of radar sense, you pick up 2 things. You sense one very potent, large dragon sense above you, towards the roof of the building. And it isn't staying still. It actually feels like it begins to kind of circle a bit. And you're catching that it is moving, but it is up. You catch the sensing below you. Don't sense any dragons. You do sense probably 30 or 40 feet down, or take the sense of a monstrosity.
Okay. But like directly down below us?
Yeah, probably like a few floors beneath you.
Okay. Well, the big dragon is still around. And there's something else down here. I don't think it's a dragon, though.
Do you know if there are any more of those half dragons going up the other staircase or this one, or?
I don't know if I can sense half dragons.
I don't know, they're like half dragons.
I don't know, I haven't.
The half dragons, I think you would know they are humanoids.
Yeah.
Darn.
I mean, I don't think they're. I can't sense them, if that's what you're saying.
Okay, well, are we going to go fight this monstrosity thing that's down here? Because, like, I only have maybe a few minutes left of this thing that I'm holding on to from the last time.
Well then. I mean, we can check it out. It's not on this floor, though. It doesn't feel like it. So I don't know what came through here.
Whatever is here, I imagine, is still here.
Yeah.
So you said it was a couple floors below us? So whatever broke into the 22nd floor went lower?
Maybe. Or it's something different.
Can I check the scratches and see if it is going in the door or out of the door?
Yeah, make a survival check.
Okay. What direction? Well, heck. Okay, so that's 10, but I get I'm trying to see how more. Okay, but I have advantage if it has to do with my favorite enemies.
You do have advantage then.
Okay. That's better, but still not great. 12.
Okay. So I'll say from one sort of meta context clues into just basically what you get from your rolling. It's not that hard to tell that it's going into this floor.
Mm-hmm.
But again, meta, because you had the advantage on it and everything, you know that this was created by some sort of monstrosity. So I think, again, putting two together, it's not too much of a leap to think that the thing you're sensing below is the thing that made this
Got it.
damage and then move down.
All right, well, it's not on this floor. Seems like it's working its way down or something. So I guess we should just keep going down.
Are we trying to find it, or do you want it to come to us, or us go to it?
If it's heading down, we probably gotta chase after it, and we gotta sweep the floors anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do it want to go down for? Doesn't it want to go up?
I don't
I am
know.
also confused.
Well, there are a lot of explosions happening just now, and if it wants to take out the entire building,
Good call.
it's gonna hit the bottom.
Let's go.
Okay. So you guys are going to keep going down instead of and not going into this floor.
Well, we have to sweep every floor, right?
Yeah, I think we'll quickly go through this floor and just like zigzag across.
How many minutes has it been since our last comment?
Wait, Lindsay, what are you trying to keep up? I forgot.
Hex.
Well, I have Hex,
Oh.
and also you're inspired, but only for 10 minutes.
Oh.
How long does Hex last for?
An hour.
An hour. Okay, you're definitely got the Hex, but yeah, the inspiration is you're probably only going to be able to check on like 1 or 2 more floors before that's gone.
Okay.
I've also got True Sight for 10 minutes, which I feel like speeds up the sweeping process.
It does.
That's true.
You have to make less of an investigative effort going through it because you're just kind of scanning.
Just sprinting.
So you cut through this floor, and it is a grisly sight. There are bears everywhere. Yeah.
Boo.
Bear puns have to carry over
I
into
liked
every
it.
game we run. As you sweep across the 22nd floor, there are more claw marks and signs of something very large moving through this office space. There are dead bodies on the ground. You see, it looks like some of the staff and guards even were caught up in this. And you see some more of the half dragons in here as well. They are, a lot of the bodies are charred. And some of them are like half eaten as well.
So I guess it is safe to say that like they did not bring this monstrosity with them, or if they did, they don't really have really good control over it.
This seems to be not very much of a picky eater.
Yeah. So you guys keep sweeping downwards.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So since you're not stopping, you guys moving pretty quickly, not stopping to inspect anything other than just like the true sight, catching what is immediately visible.
I think Enza might slow down, like when it's like seeing the carnage. Does it feel familiar? Like seeing that there, yeah.
Yeah, let's give me 1 second on that. So you sweep downwards, a couple more floors going back and forth until you hit the 19th floor. And as you, bump my mic. As you head through this floor again, most of them actually, I'll give you this. Between the 22nd and 19th floor, there hasn't been any disruption. Everything seems pretty much fine. Copacetic doesn't look like it's been destroyed until you get to the 19th, where it has sort of a similar appearance to it, like something forced its way into here. And as you head inside, there are more bodies on the ground, charred, and there's a little bit more like this odor that hangs in the air. And I think as you smell this and you see the carnage and everything, I think Enza, there is this memory that is triggered for you, and you get this sort of visceral reaction. And I think this flashback to the attack, and it's this smell. It's like almost like something's burning, like burnt ozone. And you see, I think a couple things come to you. You remember something big. You remember something blue, something very large attacking you. And as you see, you notice this. I think Enza stops for a moment, and she sees there are more bodies in this room, more half dragons in this room. But you also see something else. Across the walls and along some of the support columns for the wall, because it's more like an open plan office space, there are objects it looks like the Dragonborn were, or the half dragons were affixing to the walls. You see dozens of explosives affixed to the support columns and to the walls.
Oh no. Like rigged to blow.
They have timers on them.
Could we
Oh,
tell if
it's
they're
timers.
active? Like, are they going?
They are.
Are things ticking?
Some of them are. Some of them, it doesn't look like they had the chance to arm. But the ones that are armed is counting down. And right now, the time is at about 25 minutes.
Does anyone know if we try and disarm these, they're going to go boom? Or can we just...
Who has a background in explosives?
I do. No. No, I
I
don't.
have
Nope.
a criminal
None
background,
at all.
but it's not specifically for explosives.
No,
Can I
I
at
don't
least try to investigate them and see if I can get a sense of like how they work?
Yeah, I'd say with an investigation check with no training, I'll give you the investigation, but yeah, your information is going to be limited in what you get. I'm not going to downplay the amount of training that explosive experts have to go through
No,
to
dude.
learn how to do this.
Let me take a look. Natural 20.
Well, you're just an explosive expert now. No,
30.
30. Okay, so
What a time.
they're all on a timer. It looks to be a pretty simple setup. But again, you're not trained in how to operate these things. So I think you get a couple of things. Most of them are rigged to go off in batches. There's wires connecting them. You gather interfering with them may set off the wires. It may set off like a trigger. There's probably some sort of safety mechanism as far as like ensuring the explosives go off. So safety might not be the right word. There's a redundancy to the explosives. So they probably don't look safe to tamper with, and you probably wouldn't want to move them. I'm giving you that based on your 30. These are very, very, very dangerous.
I don't know if we should stick around here, guys. Is there any way we can contact people upstairs?
Our absolute best bet is going to be to get everyone out of the building.
I can run back up, let them know, and be back down here and faster than any of the rest of you. Don't
I
go
don't
anywhere
know.
without me. And unless someone's about to stop Seb, I think he's
Seb,
gonna...
there's something here. Be careful.
I
Why
mean,
do I not?
normally I would send Thamison, but I can't. Can Hecate take a note?
She could? How fast can she fly?
I don't think that's gonna get the message across, so
I could write really.
No,
like,
you're
big-
faster than her.
yeah. So dashing without even using Step of the Wind, I have 90 feet of movement. If I did Step of the Wind, I think that brings me up to 135.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'd probably be burning through all my ki. So about how long would it take me to run up the 6 flights of stairs? I can go most of the way up, like up to 24, cut across there, go up,
Mm-hmm.
and just let Bruno know, hey, there are explosives, we need to get people out.
Yeah, I mean, it probably wouldn't take you long. Maybe probably like 3 minutes or so to get all the way up there and get over. Yeah, I mean, it's not great, but yeah, I mean, you could probably get up there in time. You have doubts as to whether everybody might be able to get out of the building in that amount of time. And I think adding on top of that, one of the half dragons on the ground begins to cough, and seems like he is still alive. And kind of I think just barely recognize there's anybody in the room. Is very badly off. Is bleeding profusely. It looks like he's just barely clean to life, and goes, where is it?
We haven't seen it yet.
It's still around here.
I figure as much. How do you stop? Will you tell us how to stop the bomb?
Too late now. You hear a echoing roar come from the stairwell beneath, or from the other side of the conference room, or this office area. Echoing. It's a bit far off, but you do hear the sound of the creature.
What in the world is it?
We don't have time for this. Seb, if you're gonna warn people, you need to go.
Yep, Seb's gonna take off.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Clove leaves instead.
Oh no!
She's like, don't worry, I got this.
But I think Seb is gonna, as he's running out, just yell like, "Heal up, prepare. I'll be back as soon as I can."
I grab the guy who's bleeding. Just, what is it?
I think he just coughs again. He's just barely like at the edge of consciousness right now, and just begins to mutter, says, "I don't know, it was too fast." And then he just passes out.
I cast Spare the Dying on him so he doesn't die.
Okay. So you stabilize him.
Yep.
Unless you carry him out, the explosives are going to finish the job. But
yeah, well.
You stabilize him.
Yeah.
But then again, he sort of did that to himself. As Sebastian goes sprinting back up the steps. So we'll cut to that using. So you're going to burn some key to get up there as quickly as possible. I gather. So you're going up 6 stories. Which is at least 60 feet, but at an angle, so I'm going to double that as far as the distance, so 120 feet.
I can do that in like 18 seconds.
Yeah.
Without Step of the Wind, just dashing.
Okay, so here's what we do then. So just dashing, making your way up the steps. Well, it'll be a little bit further than that, so I'll say it goes through 2 rounds, but it's still really quick. I mean, less than a minute for you to get back up there at the speed that you're moving. You come sprinting in through the top floor of the building, and as you wheel around towards the ballroom, you see everyone standing in the ballroom for just a moment. And then there is almost this like slow motion. Everything kind of freezes for just the slightest second as you see light appear above the ballroom, and everyone kind of turn towards you, and then looking back up, you're down the hall at this point, kind of staring from the ballroom from where the elevators are. So you can't see the ceiling, but you see this light almost kind of emerge, like somebody opened up the ceiling. And then that is very quickly preceded by a massive gout of flame, which envelops the entire conference room and then goes like pouring down the hallway in your direction. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. I'm good at that. Come on, dice. That's an 8.
That's a fail.
Yep.
So you're right on the edge of this. This isn't the like direct dragon fire that is hitting you, but it's being funneled in your direction. So you take 19 points of fire damage.
Okay, not awful.
As you kind of get caught off like flat-footed. Savannah, do we need to take a break for a second, or are you okay then?
No, I guess just keep going.
Okay.
Since we just kept going.
I was just waiting for my producer to say so.
I'll fix it.
Okay. All right. So as you turn around, there's charred black smoke. The hallway itself is on fire. It is a grisly sight. You can't even see into the ballroom at this point.
Oh gosh, I think I'm gonna take. Does it feel too hot to enter, or like if I go in, am I going to take residual heat damage or something?
No, I mean, I'd say you could push in. What I'd say is you're sort of holding your breath at that point though, because the smoke is so thick.
Okay. I think I'm going to, from the hallway. No. No, I'm gonna run into like the entrance to the ballroom. Shout in, there are explosives. We need to get everyone out. And then I'm gonna head to the quote unquote guest room and see if someone left a healing potion there.
Okay, I think there are a couple things to notice as you kind of run into the ballroom. I think you see a lot of charred bodies across the ground from the fire. You gather, it's hard to see through the smoke, but it's you're uncertain whether there's anybody even still alive in here, as the fire's sort of roaring around you. As you run back past the like ammunitions room, go ahead and make an investigation check.
Yep, with my +0. Come on, RNGesus. 7.
7. You don't find any healing potions.
Okay, I don't spend more than 10 seconds, maybe 15, and then I start running back down to meet up with everyone else.
Okay, you come running back down. The rest of you during this like for 5 minutes that Sebastian's gone. What do you do?
I will pull out my fiddle. By fiddle, I mean violin, because it's a violin. And right now, it looks like it's made out of twisted wood and like vines and stuff. But as I pull the bow across it, it like folds over and becomes this like white, pristine, like almost looks like it's made out of porcelain. And I cast Cure Wounds on Cordelia.
Okay.
And she receives an amount of health in the amount of 12.
Nice. It's almost the full amount of damage you took, I think, before. So yeah, Cordelia, you regain 12 hit points, which I can update for you if you want, since you're working on stuff. Okay. And Sebastian comes running back into the room.
Now charred.
What did you do?
Big fire. Don't know if anyone's still alive up in the ballroom. We gotta go.
I am more than happy to do that.
Also,
Yeah, I think-
ow.
Yeah, the whole time Seb was waiting, like we were waiting for Seb to come back, and so it's just like on edge, and was like keeping a lookout for whatever the thing was. Because you said we heard a roar on this floor. The roar that we heard, did it seem like it was somewhere nearby?
It seems like it was a little bit far off, so it could be from a floor below yours.
Okay. Well, we haven't seen it yet, Seb, but you said no one's alive up there?
There was a lot of smoke and fire, and I didn't want to waste time checking. I mean, I assume the heads were able to do something, but nothing we're going to be able to do.
How much time is on the timers? Do they have like a time countdown thing?
Well, if it was 25 before and it took him 3 minutes there and 3 minutes back.
Oh,
then
25.
19.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just over 20 minutes at this point.
I'm going to cast Healing Word on Seb at 2nd level.
Okay.
I just go over there and I'm like, your eyebrows.
Healing Word or Cure Wounds?
Healing Word.
Okay.
For reasons. I'm sorry. You get 9 hit points.
I mean, it's 9 more than I had.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, we gotta get out of here, guys. It's not the bomb, but there's also something else in here that we do not want to tangle with.
I'm ready to go.
All right.
Yeah, I'm good to get out of here as soon as possible.
Okay. And Enz is gonna lead the way.
Okay, so you begin to descend down the steps. So you guys are just trying to make a beeline for the first floor at this point?
I guess, yeah. Seb said it didn't look like there was anyone alive upstairs.
So are we just trying to leave, or are we like still doing our job and like checking every floor? I say while running.
I think we're just trying to survive at this point.
Yeah, no, I think we're way over our heads.
So Clove, you can like turn into like an animal, right?
Yep.
And Cordelia, can you also like survive a great fall or anything like that?
Maybe?
Because we could just like find the window and jump out.
I mean,
I
if
can't
that's
turn
the plan,
into I
do
can't
that.
turn into a like flying creature.
Well, shoot!
I can turn into a donkey and run downstairs with someone on my back, but I'm not really sure how much good that does.
They
I
are
was really thinking
excellent
about, like,
at climbing.
jumping out a window. Oh yeah, climbing! Which actually might be slower than running downstairs, actually. Well, I was going to say we could jump out the window and I could like cast something on us.
Are you guys moving while you're debating this?
Oh
Or you-
yes. Oh
Yeah.
yes.
I just had to make sure.
Yeah, and Enzo's just keeping her eyes peeled as we're going. Though I don't know how well she can look as we're hustling, but
Mm-hmm.
just trying to keep a lookout.
Okay. I think you descend the stairs as quickly as you can, all of you running down them, down, keeping like a mental track of how much time might be passing at this point, worrying when the explosions might go off. You reach the 15th floor, rounding down to the 14th, and I think you begin to hear shouts of panic and screaming coming from inside of another doorway that looks like it's been busted through.
Enza, you seem to know what this thing is,
Yeah, what is it?
I really don't, guys. But
but you think we shouldn't deal with it?
It does sound like there are, based on the screaming and the shouts that are coming inside, it sounds like some of the staff or whoever might be in this building is currently being attacked by something. Do you continue going down, or do you head inside to interfere?
Enzo's gonna go inside.
Oh God, Clove was just gonna keep going down the stairs, but if Enza goes in, then Clove turns around.
Yeah.
Yar swears!
Shit.
I follow. Enzo.
Yeah. Will we follow up our rough boy?
I did
Oh,
not
no.
sign up to die in this building.
Well, then keep going. You don't have to follow me.
To hell with that, yeah.
Don't be a
we're sticking with
shit,
you.
Enza. I follow.
Alice running in like, I don't want to die, but I don't want you to die either.
I'm so angry.
You go busting through these doors into or through this opening into the next room. That's not the music I want. I want something more dramatic than that. Stop. That's not the only song I have.
So would you say it's been 10 minutes since our last combat?
Definitely.
Dang it. Sorry, Enzo, you are no longer inspired
That's okay.
by my show of thigh and musical interlude.
We'll go with this one. Okay. As you go busting through these doors and inside, you hear the screaming as you are running towards it. And at the end of the hall, you see the walls themselves have been broken down into this like central lobby conference room area where you see a door. It seems like the screaming is emanating from a room, which the door is currently being held shut against the overwhelming force of this massive blue scaled creature that is kind of serpentined in this small space that looks like it is trying to push in through this door to get at the screaming people inside. You see it's 12 feet, kind of bracing against the ground, almost this centipede-like body with the long, kind of twisting form of a snake. You see lightning crackling from its mouth, and as it again continues to shove against this door, its horns now kind of scraping against the sides of the wall and the ceiling. And as you all come running in, it wheels around on you and lets out this ear-piercing shriek, which in that moment, Enza, you are taken back to that forest with those children. And you remember that same shriek and a flash of blue and lightning that kind of crashing through the underbrush. And as fast as the lightning itself, this creature was on you. And before you knew it, it was over. And this memory that had been blocked from your mind comes rushing back to you in this moment. Though you don't know if it's the same creature, you have this moment of familiarity with the beast that stands before you. I need everyone to roll initiative.
With pleasure.
Mine better than a 4 this time.
So glad I chose to roll and roll 20. That's a 21.
Okay. I got a dirty 20.
13.
I got a 9.
15.
Okay.
Okay, rolling IRL was better.
Guys, this is the best day of my life. I need you to know that. The here are my favorite.
Oh.
Okay, and I will it.
Look at this cute little face.
Terrible initiatives. Continue.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's the best.
All right. Pilar, it is your turn.
Perfect. Okay, let me double check one thing that I should have double checked instead of staring at his cute little face. I'm going to violin, and as I pull the bow across, the beautiful pristine porcelain violin turns into this, like, almost looks like it's made of wrapped wire, and it shouldn't even make any noise as I play across it, but it does. And I cast Fog Cloud on the beer.
Okay.
It's a 20-foot radius, and I'm hoping, how big is this room? I don't know. I'm basically trying to, like, encompass it so that it'll have to move in order to attack us, and we can, like, spread out and still see. That's my goal.
Well, it's a 20-foot radius for the...
For the fog cloud, yes.
The fog cloud. Okay, so it's gonna cover if this here is down like this offshoot, this hallway where these like rooms are coming off of and trying to bust up against that door. You will essentially fill that alcove, this end of the hall with fog, with this spell, completely obfuscating the creature from you at this point. But there is still like a second half to this floor that you can move around and see in.
But then everyone would be able to hit it, or they'd have disadvantage to hit it.
Yes.
Well, I think about doing that and change my mind. Instead, I'm going to hex upon its house, and it'll grow these gross skull roses. I will hex its strength, and I will shoot her with Eldritch Blast.
Okay. Shoot her.
I will. 19.
19. Let me double check. Yeah, 19 hits.
How about 18?
Hits.
Oh, good. Okay, click and click. Okay, so 15 force damage, 12 force damage, and then some hex damage. Give me a second. I didn't roll damage. Oh well, it's just a 1d6. Here I go. Roll 2d6. 6 necrotic damage.
Okay, so 27 plus 6. All right, 33.
And then I'm going to split off from the group and go over to like somewhere else, so we're like not all grouped up together.
Okay. Enza, it's your turn.
Okay. I'm going to bonus action Hunter's Mark it.
Okay.
Let's see. At first level. Okay. Wait, why did that roll damage? Okay, that's trying to roll damage. Okay, and then I'm going to take 2 shots at it.
Okay.
With my still fiery gun? Because you said it lasts an hour, right?
Yep.
Yep.
And advantage because it hasn't gone.
Yeah. 24?
Hits.
Okay.
You guys are rolling real well on your attack rolls today.
Yeah.
Woo!
Okay. And so that's for 100 mark. Ooh, okay, so that is 19 plus 4 fire damage. So 19 piercing
So 23 plus 2.
Yeah. for the first one. Second shot is 21 to hit.
Hits, yes.
Okay, and I don't get fire for this. Wait, I do get fire. I don't get a hex. There we go. I mean, Hunter's Mark. 9. 16.
Okay. Total of 16?
Yeah, I combined it with fire because
Okay.
unless it needs to be separate.
Nope.
Okay.
Okay.
And then is going to move off to the side, kind of strafe around, maybe trying to get closer to that door it was assaulting.
Okay, so moving towards where the people are,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, you'd be, well, it is right up against that door right now, so you can kind of like flank around as if you're going to interpose, but if you're going to move towards the door, you're going to be right in this thing's grill.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so you split off one side, Pilar splits off from the other after her attacks. Perfect. All right, Cordelia.
Great. I'm gonna mix it up and cast Scorching Ray
Nice.
at the thingy. So I get 3 of those. Is that right? Yeah.
Yes.
All right. That one is 25. 23. Just threw my dice and 18.
All hit.
Sweet.
Jeez.
Damage do these do? Yeah, that was very good. I've been rolling like trash the whole game. And these do, I think, 2d6. So good.
It also takes an extra 8 damage because it's a favorite enemy.
Oh. All right.
All right.
Sorry, I forgot about that.
No, it's fine.
And then it takes 24 fire damage.
Holy crap.
Because I roll very good on this.
I hope this thing gets a turn.
Oh, yeah.
Me too.
All right, Cordelia, that is your turn.
Oh, wait, I'm also going to back away. But in a different direction from the other
Okay.
two.
All right, Sebastian.
Okay. How big is this thing? Is it bigger than large?
Yes.
Okay, so I can't grapple it then,
No.
which
Dang it.
just means I'm gonna just hit it more. So I'm going to run up and I punch it.
Okay.
Probably going to do the full barrage on it, but let's start one at a time. 9, I'm guessing, does not hit because I forgot and clicked and roll 20.
No, that does not hit.
Okay, following up with my extra attack. That's gonna hit. That's 18 plus 6, 24.
Yeah, that hits. Mhm.
Okay, so this is going to be magic because key empowered strikes. That's 5 bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
And I think I'm going to. Yeah, I think I'm going to try a stunning strike on it. So I spend a key point, and I think it needs to make a con save.
Okay.
Yes,
That is a 22.
that's gonna succeed. Poop. I don't want to burn all my key, but I'm gonna key point to Flurry of Blows. 19 to hit.
19 hits, yes.
Yep. For 8 bludgeoning.
Okay.
Let's try one more stunning strike.
Okay. 19.
Yeah, that succeeds. Okay, I don't think it's gonna fail that, so not gonna waste any more key on that. And last flurry blows, nat 20
Nice.
That's my cousin.
That's 9 plus 3, 12. Bludgeoning.
All right. 12 bludgeoning. Okay.
And that is my turn because I'm right up in its face. Well, not in its face. I probably ran up to its side and punched it.
Yeah, but you're right next to it. Okay. Clove.
Okay. There's not a whole lot I can do because I can't see the sky, and I prepared the wrong spell today. So, freaking heck. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna Thorn Whip it right now. That's what I'm gonna do right now.
Okay.
So let's see how this goes. Here we go. 14 plus 7 is 21.
21 hits.
Okay, and 2d6. Ugh, that's awful. 5 points of piercing.
Okay.
Horrible.
So 5 piercing. All right.
And I realized, not that anything's hit me since, I did not do a concentration check when I got hit with the 15 from the blast of the gun in the stairwell.
Yeah.
For Barkskin, so I should probably do a con check. Just
Yeah,
so
that's
that we're
good.
not. But that was not good. Constitution saving throw, right?
Yes.
Or just con check. So it's a 12. So I should be okay, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, great. Thanks.
That it?
That's my turn.
Okay. So I just want to clarify that was 134 points of damage that you guys did in that round. So
We're pretty great.
yikes. All right, so I'm setting the scene here because this creature now finally gets to act. It is
Pissed.
it has Seb right up on it, and then the rest of you guys sort of fanned out.
Yes. It also
Okay.
looks very
Yeah, I
pretty.
Well, I'm kind of close to it too.
I didn't
You're-
move. I'm wherever I am.
Okay.
In the doorway or whatever it was.
Okay. Then I think what it's gonna do, because it's real angry, yeah, that seems like the best option. So I think what it does is it kind of snakes around a bit, staying in its spot, but like repositions its head, and then you see these like gills along the side of it begin to open up and spark with electricity as air is sort of pulled in, and then from deep within its gullet you see this ball of electric energy form. It locks on, saying its ult line, and is going to hit. It's going to go for Seb, you're right there. It's going to go for Enza and Clove, I think, are the three that's going to be able to hit with this, because the other two you moved out. And this blast of lightning energy comes soaring out from it.
This
I need you all
isn't
to
a spell, is it?
No, it's not.
Okay. I just wanted to make absolutely sure.
So I need dexterity saving throws from the three of you.
Dex save. Okay.
You're muted.
That was another natural 20 for 26.
Nice.
I got a 19.
There you go.
Nice.
Seb, see,
I
you
got a
can-
10.
All right, so that's one
Oh
fail.
no.
All right, so to the two that succeeded, that is going to be 38 points of lightning damage.
That puts me at 0.
And
Succeeded?
Close down too.
and to Enza, that is 77.
Okay. 77. Okay, I'm not dead. I mean, I'm unconscious, but I didn't outright die.
Okay. Okay, this thing's feeling a little better now. So it lets out that, it takes out 3 people down, and gives itself a thumbs up, and it is Pilar's turn.
Okay.
Goes, high five here. Did
High
something.
five itself 12 times. Oh wow. Okay. Pilar does a little shriek, and then she just kind of steps up, locks eyes with this thing, and casts Cause Fear. So it has to make a Wisdom save. As basically, like, her hair starts to like fan out, like her blood red hair fans out, and like her skeleton like glows from underneath her skin. and like basically she looks terrified.
Okay. That's an 8.
Great. Well, what happens? I didn't expect that to work. It's frightened of me.
You spooked it.
He's frightened of me.
Okay, so you you awaken the sense of mortality in one creature you can see within range, which I think with the amount of damage this thing has taken, its mortality is definitely a big question on its mind.
You remind it.
And it goes, I can die. And it begins to shrink. I think it pulls away like towards the corner and kind of spins into a coil and takes on this like very defensive posture from you. It doesn't really have anywhere to run right now because everyone else is hiding in the closet and they won't let him in.
Great. I'm gonna walk up and grab Sebastian from under his arms.
Okay.
And I don't know if it'll attack of opportunity me if it's frightened of me. I don't know.
I'll say no. That makes sense that it wouldn't.
Great. So as this avatar of death that I am, I'm just gonna go grab my Tito and I'm going to drag him out of its reach.
Yeah. It just takes one of its tiny claws, just like get away from me.
That's adorable.
Okay.
And as I pull him away, I cast Healing Word at 2nd level.
Okay. Cool. Well, hold on.
Oh.
You cast a spell.
Right. That's right. I wish that I could cast Healing Word at 2nd level as I drag my Tito away.
Yeah, but you do pull him away. I'll say he is out of melee with this creature now. Well done. Enza, death saving throw.
Dude, can I? Oh, I can't choose unconscious. I was like, can I inspire?
All right. That's a 9.
That's a fail. Cordelia.
Am I closer to... Everyone but me and Pilar is unconscious, right?
Yep.
Okay. Am I closer to Enza or Clove? I was making the assumption that Pilar is going to heal Sebastian, but I guess I'll make that assumption for one more turn.
I will as soon as I can.
I'd
Who
say
am I closer to?
probably closer to Clove.
And Clove can heal. Clove can heal people. I'm gonna run to Clove. Oh god, and I'm just going, please work, please work, please work. And I'm gonna give Clove my freaking patent healing potion.
Yes. Roll a
goody.
D100. I'm gonna let Clove. You can roll it since it's your. Well, you. Either one of you can roll if you want to argue over it. I don't want to take it away from Savannah since it is the
Savannah,
healing.
it's yours. You're administering it. I'm unconscious.
Okay. Sorry in advance.
I'm so
I
excited.
rolled a 72.
Aww.
I don't know what that means.
Nothing happens.
Nothing at all?
Yeah, it's only if it's below a 50.
No, I mean nothing at all.
Yeah, nothing happens. She doesn't. No, she does heal.
Okay.
Nothing fun happens.
Great.
Aw. That's
What
about
kind
how much
of-
do I heal?
How many heals?
It's a regular healing potion, so
2d4.
2d4
Okay.
plus
Yeah.
4.
I give you
just the regular amount of healing.
9.
Woo! I'll take it. Thank you.
Okay.
And I'm going, oh, wake up, wake up, wake up.
Oh, what the hell just happened?
Enza, get Enza.
Okay.
All right. It was Cordelia's turn. It is now Sebastian's turn to make a death saving throw.
This dice gave me 2 nat 20s in a row. Is it gonna stay lucky? Nope, that's a 12. So it's success, but
success.
Not magic.
Okay. And Clove, you are conscious.
Yay! Okay. I am going to stand up, clearly, and then I am going to use, because I am a druid of the, and now I'm forgetting the name because I didn't write it down. One of the circles out of the
Dreams.
Thank you. Yep, that one. And I'm going to go ahead and use Balm of the Summer Court on Enza. And I'm going to go ahead and do 4d6.
Yeah.
And then she'll also get 4 temporary hit points plus.
No, I don't. Oh, no. It's half your druid level or less. So you can only roll up to 3 right
3.
now.
Okay, so I let me re-roll since I rolled them already. You go away. Here we go. Reroll. So you get 3 temporary hit points and 10 hit points from me.
Nice.
Okay.
And so that's that. And then that was my bonus action.
Mhm.
And my normal action is okay. So this thing's large, greater, huge.
Huge.
So how big can I use my sleet storm without killing my friends?
Everyone was pulled out of the way, so I'll say yes.
Yay! Sleet storming this mother hecker.
Okay.
Mother hecker.
Yo.
And so that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay. So the creature enters the spell for the first time on a turn or starts a turn there, makes a dexterity saving throw. So this is the first time on a turn that it is in the spell, so it is going to make a dexterity saving throw.
Fall prone. Fall down. Fall down, you big bahir.
That's a 16 on this one. So what's your spell DC?
He fell down. Or he did not fall down.
Okay. He'll make another one at the start of his turn, which will be
Okay.
here in a hot second. But on that one, he succeeds.
And if he's concentrating on anything, he has to do a con saving throw.
Okay. He's not, but that's good to know. Okay, so that'll be its turn now, and it'll make another dexterity saving throw. That one's higher than the last one, so he's still up.
He's also still afraid of me and he can't come closer to us.
He is, so that's real hard on him. He's gonna roll to see if his lightning breath comes back. It doesn't. That's sad. So what he does is he is going to attack the people in the room behind him.
Okay.
And he is I keep saying I haven't gendered this Behir.
Sorry, I gendered him.
No, it's fine. I think I started it.
I also did.
So it's just gonna make a strength check to see if it can get through the door. That's a 23. I think that beats everyone in that room.
Okay, well, if he moves out of the sleet storm, it is difficult terrain.
Okay, it's like right next to him, so he's just kind of
Darn
like
it.
punches the door open, and then just like noms inside, and gets a mouthful of person, and yeah, is just attacking the people in that room now.
But it's not you guys.
Yeah, I actually think. Well, I think here's what happens. I think it tries to run inside that room. So I think the
He wants to
Behir.
hide in there too.
I think the Behir wants to hide in this room. So I think you hear the people in there screaming as the Behir goes charging into that side room, which isn't very big, but is big enough for the Behir to fit in. And just like a cat sort of coils up inside and then just.
But doesn't eat anyone?
No, he attacks them.
Aw.
Somebody dies. And then he just pulls the door closed behind him.
No, Lindsay, there are consequences.
Pilar.
Oh, me? Well, I'm going to cast Healing Word at 2nd level.
Does it make another save at any point?
It does at the end of its turn.
Oh, okay. So what's the saving throw again?
Wisdom, please.
Okay.
10 points to you.
That's a 13. What's your DC?
A 16.
16. Okay, so he's still good.
Yeah, sucks to suck, skitty. Snick.
Okay, so.
Oh, yeah, so Sebastian, you come to with Pilar looking freaking terrifying. And what am I going to do for my action? I don't know. Can I still see it across the way?
You can see it. I'll say he has half cover.
Brilliant. Pfft, I'll just try and shoot anyway.
Okay.
Eldritch Blast, mother scratcher. Nope, that's a natural one. One more time. One more time. Here we go. 20.
That'll hit, even with the half cover.
Bless. 9 force damage.
He's still hexed too.
No, because Hex is concentration, and so is Cause Fear.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. Okay, so he takes the damage from that Eldritch Blast, the first one kind of hitting the door frame. All right, so that ends Pilar's turn.
Yes.
Is everybody conscious now? Yeah. Enza.
Oh, okay.
You see the creature, its head just kind of poking out the door, and just like these glowing blue eyes from the darkness beyond, the screaming people behind it, and is just hissing out in your direction. What do you do?
heck? She's only got like 13 hit points.
This thing is not looking good, by the way. It's
Yeah.
like real bad.
Okay. Yeah, she's gonna run up towards it and take some more shots at it.
Okay. Take your shots.
Okay, no longer at distance.
Shot.
Okay. 26 for the first shot.
Yep.
Okay. And then, do I still have firebolts? I still do. Okay, and it's been Hunter's marked. And then fire.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, no, you lost Hunter's Mark when you went unconscious.
Oh yeah, okay, so then I'll just take that one out. Oh, I only got one. Okay, 19 piercing and 1 fire.
Okay.
Okay, and for the second shot, that is a 19 to hit.
That just hits with the +2 to its AC for that.
Oh, oh man. Well, I ignore half cover.
Oh, well, then yeah, fuck it. Kill it.
If it's within 30 feet of me, I ignore half cover.
Yeah, no, you got it.
Okay, that is 20 piercing and 5 fire.
Enza, hunter of monstrosities, how do you want to defeat, how would you like to vanquish this creature before you?
So it was just like looking at me. I think she just like trains her gun on it and like shoots it right in the eye.
In the eye. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
It's got the eyes are wide and it is like again flailing back and forth. It's got this look of terror or I guess this like very defensive, angry look on its face. Kind of these gills like splayed out from the sides of its neck as it is cowering in here from the beacon, the harbinger of its doom, Pilar, standing behind you. And you take that moment. You take your first shot, grazes past, like blowing off one of the horns off the side of its head as it rights itself, and then hisses back towards you. That blue crackling, this like shining eye staring out at you. You take another shot. It pierces straight through, back out the side of its head, like explosion of gore behind it, and the creature lets out another like snarling growl. It whips around, its tail hitting. I think the tail actually busts out through the wall in the room behind it. As it flails back and forth, you hear more screaming coming from inside, and then finally, with the last few death throws, it just expires and kind of begins like twitching slightly. It is dead.
Okay. She's gonna run into that room and be like, "Everyone, get out of here!"
I dispelled Sleet Storm, by the way.
Okay, yeah. As they kind of run out, yeah, they're.
Thank you.
The sleet storm goes away.
It's the comedy of errors.
Everyone out of the room into the sleep storm. Oh no.
Okay, so
like rushes in there to get people out.
Okay. You rush in there and begin to pull people out of the room. The people, I think they immediately like beeline towards the stairs out of fear and just I think you hear some words of gratitude, but right now they're just terrified as they are running towards the stairwell and making their way outside. What are you all doing?
I'm gonna stop looking terrifying.
Yes.
That's such a good look for you.
Right?
I just look at Enza. Are we done here? Can we get the hell out of here?
Yes, let's go. And she's gonna. Can I grab that horn I shot off?
Yeah.
Do it.
Totally.
Grabbing it.
All right. You grab the horn of the Behir.
Going.
Yeah. I mean, it's about like the length of your arm. So you kind of sling it over your shoulder and go running out the door.
Oh, that's legit.
All of you descending down the steps as fast as you can. I think there's probably one room as you guys are heading down. There's probably a couple more chambers that you hear some sounds coming from within. Not like the Behir sound, but like the sounds of the half dragons at work inside this building, until you all come running out, down through the lobby and out of the building. out onto the city streets where there's sirens going off. There are those 3 trucks that are parked in front of the building. People panicking and screaming, running across the street. Anything you would like to do in this moment?
I want to load everybody into one of those trucks and GTFO.
Steal a truck.
Please.
That's
Okay.
what I want to, because if this place is going to blow, being next to the building is not where we want to be. We want to get the heck out of here. So I'm trying to corral my friends, and I want to steal one of these huge trucks.
Yeah. Peeler, you have something that lets you get loud, right?
Yes.
I would just say, like, you should probably shout at someone official there, but explosives in there, and just let them deal with that.
I do that.
Okay.
I don't have thaumaturgy, but I do have prestidigitation.
All
I shoot
right.
off some fireworks. Hey, look over here. Your building is going to fall.
Okay, you begin to warn people as you head towards one of the trucks. Jumping inside, all of you sort of loading into the truck, and then peeling out.
I'm looking to see if I can see Heron or anybody that I recognize.
Make a perception check.
Okay. This is really hard to do, holding the baby, because I just threw my dice on the ground, but I'm going to take it, because it's 18 plus 7, 25.
Nice. Okay, so you scan the panicked crowds. There are like a couple people you recognize. I think you see some of the security staff has made it out of here, and it's looking kind of confused, not really sure what they should do next. And at Pilar's bequest is Hestus now are now kind of frantically trying to escape. And I think you do see amongst the crowd, you do see Harin, who looks a little bit worse for wear. A little bit, his suit is a little bit kind of dusted and tattered looking, and he sees all of you, and he says, "What's going on?"
We'll tell you in the truck. Get in the car. Let's go. We're getting out of here.
All right. And he jumps in the back of the truck, and you all go peeling out in this truck. You get just to like the end of the block, just far enough away, and I think you all hear a noise. This thum, 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 thum. And you look back, and you can see the tower itself, multiple spots along it that light up. Like a Christmas tree. There we go, our holiday episode. And there is this groaning noise, and you see the tower itself kind of shift and shudder for a moment. And as you guys are peeling away, the whole thing begins to collapse down on itself. And you hear screaming and panicking within the city itself. And overhead at that moment, you also hear the beating of wings, and you see a flash of metal in the sky as a brass winged dragon goes soaring off away from the tower and cutting a low dive over the city.
I glare at it. It ate my bird.
I want to know where it's going.
Yeah.
Don't wait for me. I turn into a bat. I fly out of the truck, and I just want to fly up as high as I can. I wanted to see where it's going.
Okay. You see, so you fly up, this thing moving so fast, and you're just trying to get above the city light, or the skyline, so you can see the creature. And I think just as you crest above the buildings, are able to see out over the city, flapping your little bat wings, you just catch the sight of the metallic wings of the dragon cutting out over the south western horizon, and then it seems to do like a low circle and then nestle amongst a like a wooded area just outside of like the city limits.
Okay, I try to fly back to the truck, but
Okay.
I don't know if I can catch it.
You're eventually able to catch up with the truck. This panting bat catches
I
you.
think as we're driving away and like the building has fallen and we're like the immediate threat has passed, Pilar bursts into tears and like grabs Seb's face and is just like in Elvish, just like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're okay. I'm so sorry, I should have helped more. And it's just like kissing his forehead, like moving his hair out of the way and like wiping the blood out of him and just like freaking out.
I think he just kind of takes her in a hug and is just like, shh, it's okay. I've had worse. This isn't I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm here. And I think it's going to start. Well, no, I was going to say it's going to start like singing her a lullaby, but they're the same age, so that doesn't make quite as much sense. But I think it's going to sing. Is going to sing one of the few Elvish folk songs that he remembers.
Oh.
She just cries into his shirt and just like holds him.
I fly back into the truck, turn back into myself, and pretend like I didn't just turn into a bat.
Okay.
And I basically am hollering from the seat, like, that's what we're dealing with to Haran, and say, you know, the half dragons loaded the building full to blow, and we fought whatever that big blue thing was.
Shit. Damn it. I'm not getting paid. Damn it.
I mean, I don't know if there's anyone left to pay us. I ran back up when we found the bombs, and everyone in the ballroom.
Everyone in the ballroom.
I didn't see anyone. I assume the heads made it out because they're huge badasses, but...
That's
Crap, everyone that runs the city was up there.
No shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a hit in the, simplest terms.
Okay, well, we're out. So where are we going?
We gotta
The
ditch
place
the
I know, we're going to the joint.
Yeah, let's not take this truck there, though, because we don't want to be tied with this.
Oh, true,
I
true.
think I've got some people who can help.
Tell me where to go.
I think Seb raises a questioning eyebrow at Cordelia and's like, are you sure?
Not much else we can do. Let's go. I'm gonna direct Clove towards the hospital. And Mama, I'm coming home!
All right. I think direct towards the hospital. I think you probably parked the truck a few blocks away in like a dark alley, someplace where somebody might find it at some point, but at least won't be tied to you guys. Haran at least would request that if none of you had that idea. You then walk the few blocks. You can still hear the sirens in the distance. You see a plume of smoke trailing up from the center of the city. As in the middle of the night, the moon kind of cresting over the upper rooftop of the hospital. You head towards the fluorescently lit interior, and that is where we're going to go ahead and end our session for tonight.
Oh, PLR eventually stops crying and then looks over at Creeley and is like, since when can you turn into a bat?
It's a very long story. And lots of answers in here. So
You're all about to meet some very interesting people.
I almost broke my arm trying to grab you from falling, and you can turn into a bat?
well, not that quickly.
Okay.
Okay. You with that note, you or on that note, you head into the building. Okay. So we'll pick up right at that moment when we come back in 2 weeks.
Oh man.
We all lived, sort of.
You did.
No, we all
live.
definitely lived.
I got knocked unconscious.
I know, but you lived.
I got to do an injury roll, don't I?
Yeah.
Or a con save to see if I got to do an injury thing.
Yeah, those of you that went unconscious go to make Constitution saving throw DC 13.
Okay, I succeed.
13, you say?
Oh, I do too. 15.
Yes. I
got a 12.
Okay. We'll do that in a second once we get off the air.
Didn't you, Cordelia? Didn't you?
No, she didn't.
No.
I went to sleep and I almost fell into the abyss, but
That's you went to sleep. That's
Yes.
right. I forgot. Okay.
Did not
Sleeping
go
unconscious.
My
Yeah.
stuff.
So
a lot happened.
yeah, but we'll parse through it in our after show special. Stay tuned. We'll be back in 2 weeks to continue this and see what happens next. thank you everyone for watching. I won't repeat too much of our stuff. If you want to see anything that's going on now and in the future, check out our Twitter. Also Game Nights. Check out our YouTube. Check out all of our stuff, and you can find links to all of these wonderful places here on Twitch below us. Everything kind of neatly laid out for all of you. And also on our website, ggk.smvi.co. And then the most immediate thing is, if you are interested in watching us play some more, on Monday we will be doing some more Wild Space. Wild Space-esque. We're going to be doing a one-shot Wild Space After Dark. It's going to be a spooky one-shot. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But anyway, so check out for that. I think that's it. Any other announcements? Anything I missed? Anything you guys want to promote? Okay. Well, thank you. We'll see you next time. And until then, good game and good night, Internet.
Good night.
Good night,
Good night,
Internet.
Internet.